Tuesday rolls around and the contractors don't show up. Or Tuesday rolls around and they do some work and they kind of tear up your kitchen a little bit, and then Wednesday and Thursday go by and there's nobody working on there. And it's the idea of, okay, is somebody going to show up, and when are they going to show up? And it's one of just kind of the annoyances. I was thinking about that today as I was driving in. Now, yesterday I saw a story I think it was in a local newspaper, downtown West Bend, and I love West Bend. Downtown West Bend, they've really done a great job, in my opinion, of revitalizing that area. And they have all sorts of events during the summer. They have music on Main Street. They have this huge farmers market. And downtown West Bend, the main stretch, I don't know, runs about 4, 5, 6 blocks, I would say. Well, it's gone now because they've undertaken a construction project where they've torn up all of like Main Street, downtown West Bend, and it's going to be out of pocket, essentially unusable till the end of October, which is really, it's a problem for merchants because if you're a merchant in downtown West Bend, you can't, I won't say can't, but it is extremely difficult for customers to get to your restaurants or get to your shops. I mean, you have to park a couple blocks over and then walk. The sidewalks are still open, but it's very, very inconvenient. I was thinking, okay, this is kind of a big deal for in the case of West Bend, for the merchants to have the roads, torn up. Now they've got this online rendering that makes it look like it's going to be really cool when it gets done in October, and that's fine, but it doesn't help people between April and October. There is always an annoyance when you have construction, and construction is going on all around here. So for people who don't know, I live north of the city. I live in Ozaukee County. So today, as I was coming into work, I've been thinking about this because I've seen it a couple times over the last couple days. But today, an absolutely gorgeous, sunny Friday morning, as I am driving in, and I started to count Mequon Road, if you can picture that, on I-43, down to a little bit south of Bayshore. And there's construction projects going on all over, and they're widening, I-43. And then once you get to Nicolet High School, where I went to school, it's all torn up. I have no idea what they're doing at Nicolet, all right? But it's this major construction projects. Things are torn up. I counted on the way heading south. I counted the number of pieces of heavy equipment that I saw, and by heavy equipment, I'm talking about bulldozers and front end loaders and rock trucks and cranes. I mean, big time heavy duty equipment that you'd use for like major construction projects. So I started counting the number of pieces of heavy equipment that I saw on this stretch of road. It's maybe like 4 or 5 miles in duration, maybe a little bit longer than that. I stopped counting at 50. There were over 50 pieces of heavy construction material, that were parked on either side of the road as you're moving down. All right, let's say it's over 50, probably well over 50, but I stopped at 50. I counted then the number of those pieces of heavy equipment that I saw on a gorgeous Friday morning at like 10:30, I think is kind of when I was coming in. How many of those pieces of heavy equipment were actually in use? All right. Now, I just want you to think of a number. Think of a number, and we'll use 50. Was it 40? No. Was it 30? No. Was it 20? No. Was it 10? No. I counted 5 pieces of heavy equipment, and I'm talking like rock trucks or bulldozers or whatever, out of all this stuff that was parked along the road during this multiple stretch. I counted 5 pieces of heavy equipment that were in use at various points, total of 5, and maybe another 5 people who were like standing by the sides of the road supervising. So I'm looking at this road that is torn up. And I'm looking at all this equipment. I mean, it really, if you ever watch that Discovery show Gold Rush, where they have all these people that are out mining in Alaska, and you look at some of the big operators, and they've got heavy equipment that's all over. This looked like it was a multiple scene from Gold Rush with all this heavy equipment, but almost none was in use. Our number is 855-616-1620. That's the WTMJ talk and text line. And look, I appreciate that road construction needs to get done. I understand that. And this isn't an anti-road construction thing. Matter of fact, I think the widening of the freeway is going to be great. I know that they set time limits for this and they build in some downtime. But all week, I've been observing these things, and you have very, very little work that is being done. And you would think that at 10 o'clock or 10:30 on a gorgeous Friday morning, you would have tens of people out there. Now, I understand that there's always going to be something about how, well, we have to finish one thing before some other people can come in and all that sort of stuff. But it was just striking to me how little work was being done and how much time was being, therefore, wasted. And it's not an indictment of the workers or anything like that, but it is a planning question about when you have all this stuff out there, why isn't there a priority on trying to get this stuff completed? Because it is a huge inconvenience when you tear up freeway on-ramps or freeway off-ramps, or you tear up roads to expand them. And I understand it's got to be done, and I'm not anti-road building at all. But you'd think that once you get into these projects, you'd get them done in a more timely fashion, or at least you'd have a schedule set up so that, hey, we're going to be getting work done. We're going to be making progress every day. 855-616-1620. We discuss in just a moment.
Jeff Wagner is back right after this on WTMJ.
WTMJ's Steve Scafidi.
Celebrate with your teammates. This is stupid. Bottom line is, show some class. I don't care where you're from, what you look like. 5, you pick the amount. Put
Neither
that
here nor
aside.
there. Yeah.
Maybe it should just be always what we decide. Maybe the whole 15%, 20%, maybe that's outdated. One more sheriff's commercial about politics or who you're endorsing. Nobody cares. Do your damn jobs.
Weekdays from 9 to noon on WTMJ.
Now, about your house. Eric Brown is the president of Siding Unlimited, your contractor for new windows, roofing, siding, decks, and a whole lot more. He knows about your house. So what do you know, Eric?
Watch out. That old deck might cost you more than a weekend of upkeep, painting, staining, or replacing old boards. That old deck on the surface may look awful and quite embarrassing in your pictures. Beyond the surface, that old deck could be a potential hazard waiting to happen. There are many inspection points to know if your deck is ready to support your family and friends for the weekend party, or if you've lost trust and need to replace before the big problems happen to you. Many old decks on single-family homes were built by the weekend warrior or the know-it-all do-it-yourselfer. These are weekend projects rushed to be finished by the Sunday evening deadline, maybe even built with a couple cases of beer nearby. Often steps are skipped, process is lost, or even material looked over to finish the job before work on Monday. We find when replacing these types of decks, they were never securely put together to begin with, resulting in the high risk of failure. Not my deck, people say. We use the right stuff. Meanwhile, they never secured or poorly secured the ledger board to the house, didn't use enough or the right hangers, had the wrong lumber to support the size of the deck, or just plain did a bad job. All of which can result in trip hazards, flashing issues, or worse, problems supporting the weight load of your loved ones. As you entertain your family and friends, be proud of how beautiful your deck looks, as well as how you can show off the cool inspection report knowing everyone is safe because your deck was built by the right people.
Eric and his crews at Siding Unlimited are your go-to contractor here for outdoor decks. Also replacement windows, roofing, and of course siding. Take the next step. Check them out at sidingunlimited.com. Siding Unlimited, siding and a whole lot more.
This is Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
855-616-1620, which is the WTMJ talk and text line. Let's start with Michelle in Grafton. Michelle, good afternoon. Hi, Michelle.
Well, you're just working. Hi. You're just working during the regular business hours. If you notice all the signs on the freeway say closed, this ramp's closed, this part of the freeway is closed from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. If you want to see all those big trucks doing their thing, it's during those hours, and because you can't have any traffic on there. I know I live in Grafton, and I'll get on the freeway at Grafton and think, oh my gosh, when did they do this? Because I am on that freeway every day, and I go downtown, and I worked at St. Mary's downtown, and it's at night because they have different ways to get on the freeway. They move those huge concrete barriers to change the lanes. And it can be done in one day. You can get on the freeway the next day. And if you're observant, you'll notice that the lanes and the traffic are all different, and it's amazing what they accomplish overnight.
Well, and that's, Michelle, thanks for calling that. And see, I'm sure that is definitely some of it. And yes, I've driven that stretch of road, and you're right. Once or twice a week they'll say, okay, freeway is closed or this ramp is being closed, and there's no doubt about that. But I'm sorry, there's a lot of work that could be done during the day. There's work on these ramps and stuff where you don't need that freeway access. And I guess my question is, why aren't, for that stuff, why don't you have the bulldozers that are moving the dirt, or why don't you have the rock trucks? Because you don't need to close the freeway for a lot of this stuff. And if we wanted to get this stuff done, I guess it would just seem to me that as a priority, we would say, yeah, okay, well, for the stuff that we need to close the freeway for, we're going to close the freeway, we're going to do that stuff overnight. I understand all that, and that's certainly a factor. I guess I have a difficult time, though, believing that all of that needs to be done overnight. Because like I say, there's a lot of stuff. For example, I'm thinking of, they're rebuilding the southbound on-ramp at Brown Deer Road. You're way away from the freeway, and there's no reason why you couldn't be working on that stuff while cars are on the freeway. And that's just one of these sort of many examples that are there. But even with that, if you're driving down there, there's all this construction. They've been tearing up Port Washington Road, for example. And again, there's all these vehicles. There's a little bit of work being done. You see like one rock truck being driven and one bulldozer. It's like, why don't we just make a commitment to try to get this stuff done and make it a priority? And again, I'm not anti-road building at all. I know it needs to get done. But at some point in time, I think it would make sense to say we need to get this done as fast as we possibly can. And let's figure out how we can work a couple shifts. And let's design this so that if you don't have to work at night and close the freeway, let's get people working at 10 o'clock in the morning on the stuff that you don't necessarily need to be on the freeway to do. Let's talk to Dave in Greenfield. Dave, you're on WTMJ.
Hey, Jeff.
Hi, Dave.
I've been on your show before, and I agree with you on this. I mean, I do construction myself, and that equipment's very expensive, and someone has to pay for that. So if that stuff is sitting idle, guess who's paying for it? Property taxes.
Right.
Road commission, all of us. We're all paying for all that. And it's getting sickening. So, yes, there should be a plan. There should be a plan. Or let's just get it done. Okay, folks, in 2 weeks, we're going to close this up for 3-4 days.
Right, and then finish it.
Time to take an alternate route.
Yeah.
Then you'll have time to take an alternate route.
Right. No, I agree. I mean, no, thanks for, which is kind of the way, and look, and I understand there's all sorts of stuff that goes into this, and you do have to have a degree of planning, but I guess I just refuse to believe this notion that you can only do the work when the freeway is closed, or because there's all sorts of stuff that is being done by the sides of the road and things like that because, well, candidly, I mean, there's work that's being done when the freeway is still open. You don't have full freeway closures even in the middle of the night. You have all these different, people that are working there and all. And I understand maybe it's an issue where, well, we don't want to close the lanes at rush hour, and I appreciate that. But I'm also back with your sentiment. Let's kind of get this done. And whenever you see all these vehicles that are idled and nobody out there, I think it is a fair question to say, all right, is it really fair? Is it really true that there's nothing that could be done during this period of time to advance these particular programs? Does this have to be a 4-year project? And you have to suffer for that inconvenience. And the biggest thing about this is it does have a huge impact. It's not just a question of convenience. What it also is a question of, access to businesses and things like that. It's why I have a friend who owns a restaurant in Glendale, and he almost lost his business because it took so long to do road construction in front of their place. And it was supposed to be a 3-month project, and it turned into 6 or 7 months. And people just, I won't say they couldn't get to his restaurant, but it became very, very difficult to. And a lot of people just said, well, look, we love this place, but, we're not going to go 2 miles out of our way and come in through some like obscure back route to get to the place. And it really almost put him under. Now, thankfully, it didn't. But when you're doing these projects, I think you have an obligation to try to get them done as quickly as you possibly can. And maybe that means if you've got great weather in the spring, maybe you should figure out a way to, I don't know, maybe even work 2 shifts to get it done. Back with more in just a minute. This is Jeff Wagner.
Don't go anywhere. Jeff Wagner is back right after this.
Hey, I'm John Mercier.
And I'm Sandy Max.
Great news for fans of Wisconsin's afternoon news.
You can now hear every episode of the show across the podcast universe.
That's right. You'll never have to miss a single interview, story, or fun conversation.
You're not giving in to the process.
Yeah, you're done? You're done.
Well, I was hoping somebody would try and slide a little food. There's a little slot here underneath the door, some cold cuts, pretty thin.
Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Brian Wickert back to report even more home buyers paid over the asking price last month, rising to 50% in the 5-county metro area. 3 out of 10 paid $10,000 or more above that list price. The good news is appraised values are generally keeping up with the over-asking offers. Still, the most powerful thing a buyer can do to make their offer the most attractive in a multiple offer situation is to give the seller some appraisal wiggle room. Telling the seller you're willing to pay over the asking price, even if the house appraises lower, sounds scary because most buyers think they have to fill that potential gap with more down payment. But in the vast majority of cases, AccuNet is showing home buyers how they can offer appraisal wiggle room without bringing a nickel more to closing. Appraisal wiggle room is like a good card trick. You need to see it to believe it. So if you're home shopping with a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval, upgrade today to an AccuNet rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval by clicking on the blue button at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
What's wrong?
I've got a problem.
Want to sit and talk about it?
Okay. Ooh, this sofa's nice.
Yes, I know. So tell me.
I can't believe how comfortable it is.
It's pretty sweet, isn't it? Okay, but let's get back to...
Is this the Benjamin sofa from Penny Mustard?
It sure is.
I love the classic look.
The Benjamin is timeless, and it fits with almost any decor.
Yes, okay, but let's discuss this problem.
I don't see any problem with the Benjamin sofa.
Solid hardwood frame.
Ultra high-density foam cushions.
Hundreds of fabric and leather options.
Okay, enough about the Benjamin sofa.
Whoa!
Why are you so testy?
Sorry, I guess I'm dealing with my own problems.
Want to sit and talk about it?
Okay. Ooh, this sofa is nice.
The Benjamin sofa, the ultimate in sophisticrafted quality, durability, and elegance, starting at $25.19 at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Better versions of what people want.
Penny Mustard Furnishing.
For 3 decades, Top Fitness has been the most respected name in home fitness from coast to coast, and now they've opened their newest and largest showroom in Brookfield. Top Fitness has the biggest and best selection of exercise equipment, accessories, and gym flooring to build your perfect home gym. This month, save big during the annual floor model sale. All floor models must go. Save up to 70% off store-wide for a limited time while supplies last. Plus, save up to $1,000 on Precor treadmills and ellipticals. The Top Fitness team of experts can design your dream workout space with a complimentary 3D home gym design, so you can visualize what getting fit in the comfort and safety of your own home will look like. They offer professional delivery and assembly. Plus, for a limited time, enjoy 12 months of interest-free financing. Stop by Top Fitness in Brookfield on Blue Mound Road and online at topfitness.com. Top Fitness, your best choice in home fitness equipment.
Welcome back to Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
And once again, in celebration of 414 Day, we're doing something new. Don't just listen. You can now stream The Jeff Wagner Show and all of your favorite WTMJ shows. We're streaming live on video from our studios at The Avenue. You can watch online on our website, WTMJ.com. You can watch on our mobile app. You can watch on the WTMJ YouTube page. Who knew we had a YouTube page? But we do. And on all our social channels. Look while you listen with the WTMJ video stream. You can see what we all look like, and you can make sure that I've got my collared shirt on here with no stains on it or anything. My wife wouldn't let me out of the house with that. Right now, WTMJ breaking news time is 12:32 p.m. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, here's Finn Askin.
Thanks, Jeff. Milwaukee Police Department releasing a statement saying they, quote, recognize and acknowledge the professional shortcomings and actions, end quote, of one of their officers after a story by the Journal Sentinel revealed he used derogatory words to describe a woman who came in to report domestic violence. That woman, Bobby Lou Scheffling, was later killed by her boyfriend. And the Journal Sentinel is also reporting that the city of Milwaukee's request that a judge order ownership of the dilapidated former Northridge Mall be transferred to the city has been rejected. And it's official, Mark Lasry is out as a Bucks owner. Shams Charania of The Athletic reporting that Lasry is completing the sale of his Bucks stake to Cleveland Browns owner Jimmy Haslam and Haslam Sports Group for a $3.5 billion valuation today. And time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow right now is down 289 points. The S&P 500 is down 30 points, and the NASDAQ is down 129 points. Get on track with investment and retirement planning. Visit annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button today. Taking a look at your roads with your Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Everything's looking good right now. 94 inbound from Highway 16 to the Zoo is 10 minutes. The Zoo to downtown is 5. 41 northbound from Zoo to Highway Q is 14 minutes. And 4145 southbound from Highway Q to the Zoo is 13 minutes.
Traffic is sponsored by TaybackAttorneys.com. Veterans benefits denied? Call Tayback for the payback. Brave Americans who served shouldn't be denied benefits or have a disability claim incorrectly evaluated by the VA. If you're one of those vets, call Tayback for the payback. TaybackAttorneys.com.
Here's a look at your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Today, mostly sunny with a high of 73 at the lake and 82 inland. Tonight, mostly clear with a low of 53 degrees. Tomorrow, increasing clouds and thunderstorms late with a high of 70 at the lake and 80 inland. Sunday, rain showers and a chance of thunderstorms, cloudy, breezy with a high of 55. And Monday, a few rain showers early and potential snow, cloudy and breezy with a high of 45 degrees. In Milwaukee, it is 71 degrees. I'm Finn Askin, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 12:34.
I'm Jeff Wagner. Coming up next, how does a 21-year-old Massachusetts Air National Guardsman get access to top-secret information, and how is he able to put it on the Internet for month after month without anybody knowing? Stick around.
Don't go anywhere. Jeff Wagner is back right after this on WTMJ.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
For over 5 decades, a true American band. This is America. Live in concert. An unforgettable evening with America. July 12th, Riverside Theater. Tickets at papstheatergroup.com. America, live in concert.
With inflation on the rise, Wisconsinites are hurting at the gas pump, at the grocery store, and to pay their bills. Now big city lobbyists are pushing for potentially massive property tax hikes, which would put a further burden on your already stretched thin wallet. They are coming after the local property tax levy freeze that has saved taxpayers more than $3.5 billion since 2011. Property taxes are already Wisconsin's most onerous tax, and their proposal would make it worse. Right now, you control your property tax increases by voting in local referenda. The big city lobbyists want to take away your control and allow property taxes to increase automatically without your approval. We must stop this attempt to thaw the property tax freeze. Call your legislator at 800-362-9472 and let them know you appreciate their efforts to protect your hard-earned money. Paid for by the Wisconsin Homeowners Alliance.
Welcome back to Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
Okay, I admit that this is pretty cool. You can go to our website, 620WTMJ.com, and we have a listen live button, and we also have a watch live button, and you can hit that watch live button and you can see what we're doing from the studio. So I don't think it's ever going to necessarily replace the spoken word aspect of this, but it's just another way that we can all connect. All right, inflation, the return of the bear, 2023 sectors, and answering all of your questions about it. Join Dave Spano from Annex Wealth Management, along with Wisconsin's Afternoon News host John Mercure for a special webinar, Inflation, Rate Hikes, and Bears. Oh my. Kind of like lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. On Wednesday, April 19th at 11 a.m., you can register for this free webinar at WTMJ.com. Click on the Features tab and visit the Annex Wealth Management webinar page. All right. Now, last evening, I found myself once again screaming at the news from time to time because of these reports. During the program yesterday, the news was breaking that federal agents had arrested the guy that they believe is responsible for all these leaks of confidential information that have apparently been out there for several months. Now, what's different about this current series of leaks is it is so much more damaging to national security than other previous leaks. Now, the most famous leak is probably, you go back to the time of the Vietnam War, 1968, 1969, Daniel Ellsberg, the Pentagon Papers. Ellsberg was a former Defense Department employee who then was working for a private corporation. He had access to all these reports that had been prepared as an historical analysis of how the U.S. got involved in Vietnam. And the documents, they went back to the Truman administration, the Eisenhower administration, Kennedy and Johnson. And what they showed is that a lot of the stuff that the American public was being told about the progress of the war in Vietnam and why we got involved in Vietnam were false. And so in an effort to expose that, Daniel Ellsberg, leaked the Pentagon Papers. And it led to a huge series of challenges and First Amendment decisions and things like that. But these documents that were leaked in the Pentagon Papers, it was an historical analysis. It wasn't, hey, I'm releasing information about, where the troops are going to be in a week or anything like that. It was an historical analysis. The same thing is true of a number of the other leaks that have come forward over the course of the last 30 or 40 years. The Chelsea Manning leak and a couple others. These were documents that in general were historical analyses talking about things in the past. What makes these current leaks different is this is essentially real-time information that was leaked into the public. These are documents that are talking about stuff that is ongoing. Hey, this is what we have done. This is how we've been able to penetrate Russian intelligence. This is the information that we have that we're providing on a real-time basis to Ukraine to help them anticipate where Russian attacks are coming. It's a current real-time sort of thing. And it's also disclosing current conversations that are going on and the ways the U.S. is looking and treating its allies, etc. This is the stuff that no government, you cannot operate foreign affairs if you essentially have your confidential documents that are being disclosed. So that's why this is different. The other thing that's so aggravating about this is these documents have apparently been out in the public, quote unquote, since sometime in January. So the guy who was leaking these documents was able to physically obtain the documents. He would be able to apparently remove them from wherever he was. He would copy them, take pictures of them, and put them up on this very, very small chat room that he had and disseminate the information this way. And it had been out there and nobody had picked it up apparently until like one of the news organizations realized this was out there. And so nobody knew that this guy was doing that, despite the fact that the information had been out there for months. So, all right, who has access to all this confidential information? Well, it turns out that the leaker is a 21-year-old Massachusetts Air National Guardsman who joined the Massachusetts Air National Guard when he was 19 years old. And apparently he had access to pretty much everything that the United States had. The leaked documents include intelligence on allied foreign governments, assessments of Ukraine's progress in its war against Russia's invasion, and apparently he had access to an internal Pentagon computer network for top secret information. All right? Why did he do this? Why did he have access to it? Well, apparently, part of his job was simply, making sure that the computer systems operated correctly. Okay, and to do that, he was given access to all this information. Now, it doesn't appear that he was trying to sell this to foreign governments or anything like that. He was just trying to show that he was a big man to some of the other people in this weird little group that he was participating in. But the bottom line is he had access to all this information. Our number is 855-616-1620. That is the Old National Bank talk and text line. Look, I don't know how much long-term damage the leaking of these documents has done. It has certainly caused a lot of short-term damage. But to me, the bigger story is, how can a 21-year-old sort of low-level computer IT person get access to some of the most confidential U.S. documents there are? And then how can he leak these and nobody picks it up for several months? 855-616-1620. That's the WTMJ talk and text line. To me, if nothing else, this is a giant red flag saying we have to go back and figure out, why is it that you have thousands, maybe tens of thousands of people, including low-level individuals, that have access to all the confidential documents that the United States has? 855-616-1620. We discuss in a moment.
Don't go anywhere. Jeff Wagner is back right after this.
From big tailgate parties to cozy dinners for two, the freshest ideas start with a stop at Century Foods.
Now through Wednesday, save on 6 to 8 count Mega Rolls Angel Soft Bath Tissue, $6.99. 5 to 8 count box or 20 count mini selected varieties Nestle Drumstick Sundae Cones, $7.49. 5.3 ounce cup yogurt or 7 ounce bottle smoothie selected varieties Dannon Light and Fit Zero Sugar or 2 Good Greek yogurt or smoothie, 4 for $5. 20 ounce package selected varieties Butoni family size pasta, $5.99.
Hey, why'd you throw my glass across the room?
I have to keep practicing.
The vase from Aunt Sophie?
I'm warming up in case I get to take the mound at American Family Field. Read this.
Win the ultimate baseball fan experience at Century Foods?
You either get to throw out the first pitch, hold the finish line for the famous racing sausages, or be on the field during batting practice. My new TV!
Just doing a little batting practice of my own.
The ultimate baseball fan experience from Century Foods. Return the entry form found in the weekly ad to any Century by July 26th.
Artwork, especially original artwork, can be pricey. But when you take it in on consignment from nice people like you, who are just ready to change the look of their home, you can price it right. And you'll find a lot of it at Design Exchange. Beautiful frame pieces by a number of notable artists. And new ones pop in all the time. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. In Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Now these tend to fly off the shelves. But don't worry, because our connection supplies us with a lot of them. Vintage ceiling tiles from once great old buildings in New York City that make for ultra-unique artwork. These items are definitely hard to find from anywhere else around here. So come take a look, and you'll probably find a treasure. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. In Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
There are over 10,000 reasons why steel is not sold at Lowe's or Home Depot. Find tools for the job site or in your own backyard at over 10,000 authorized local steel dealers. Find yours at steelusa.com.
You can't beat Burghardt.
Now open in New Berlin.
To be able to breathe properly when you sleep is a profound change. To be able to sleep properly is probably the most important thing you can do for your health, period. End of sentence. In order to sleep properly, you have to be able to breathe properly. If you can't breathe properly, you aren't going to sleep properly. It sounds sort of like simple and like I'm talking to a first grader, but I'm simply saying that most people don't recognize how profoundly impacted their sleep is by their breathing issues until we fix it. And so if we fix somebody's nose, we fix their sinuses, we make sure that their throat is staying open when they're sleeping at night, their body is for the first time ever breathing properly and therefore sleeping properly. And you kind of forget, like, wow, this was such a big deal for me before I got it fixed.
Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventNose.com.
Welcome back to Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
855-616-1620. Jeff, the guy was an IT person whose job was to keep the system up and running. So, of course, he had access to the information. He stupidly put them on a gaming site he was in charge of. Now, stupid is not the word that I would use. He then, someone else put them out on other sites. The guy needs to be really held accountable. Well, yeah, at least right now the charges are going to be a violation of the Espionage Act, 10 years for each document he leaked. I think they should be looking at treason, to tell you the honest-to-goodness truth, because of the the damage that he caused. But I guess I refuse to accept this idea that, well, he worked with the computer system, so he had to have access to this vast network of all these type of secrets. The other question I have is, he printed this off. I mean, why do you need, again, if his job is to, keep the computer system up and running, why should he have access to be able to print off these things? And then how do you print them off, go to the printer, remove them, and then copy them? It's just, and if people want to argue, oh no, this is just something that we can't deal with, nuts to that. We have to be able to deal with this. You can't have every disaffected 19 or 20-year-old who happens to get a job in IT that has access to top secret documents like this. 855-616-1620. Frank in South Milwaukee. Frank, you're on WTMJ. Good afternoon.
Hi, thanks very much for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
I agree. Treason, no less. I'm a military vet, and I'm coming upon my anniversary date of my most horrendous day in combat, where my best buddies lost their lives. And he looks harmless. He's in a uniform. He looks like a young guy can make a mistake. I don't give a shit.
All right. Okay. Got to cut that. Can't use that word. Do we get it there, Charlie? All right. Got it. Can't use that word on the radio. But I understand how upset you are with, what's going on here. And everybody should be upset with this. And I guess, look, you got to hold the guy accountable. Got to punish him. Got to deal with this. There's no question about it. And like I say, I'd be looking at treason charges. If nothing else, he should be in prison for decades. So there's no question about that. But I am more concerned with what we do moving forward. Moving forward, how do we end up dealing with this situation? And what can we do to stop this in the future? And I guess one of the frustrating things I'm seeing is some people say, well, there's nothing you can do. I mean, it's just, this is just the risk we run. No, I'm sorry. We have to figure out a way to limit the access that people have to all this different information, or at the very least, limit it to a number of people who, maybe have some degree of experience. You can't, with all due respect to 18-year-olds who join the military, you can't be giving every 18-year-old who signs up to be a computer specialist access to the highest sort of security documents, especially if there's not going to be any oversight or review of them. And that's, do I understand this is going to be difficult? Absolutely. Especially since after 9/11, one of the things that led to what happened on 9/11 was the whole notion that we had different branches of the U.S. government didn't talk to each other. And so after 9/11, they took steps to make it easier for people to get access to information so that you could share it, so we could figure out, hey, we've got a bunch of people who have come into the country who have overstayed their visas and now they've just disappeared. Maybe we should try to be finding them. Okay, so I understand that you want to, what's the phrase they use in business? Do away with silos, where you don't share information. But that being said, there still has to be some check on who has access to this type of classified information that they're going to decide to put out there. And that's where I think you need to have something going on. Now, if you follow me on Twitter, it's at Jeff Wagner 620. I've got a posting. There are two different You want to talk about two people who just completely and totally get it wrong. All right, yesterday, Joe Biden, he's finally, they finally asked him about this. He'd been ducking these questions, and he says, well, he is worried about the fact that there was a leaker, but he's not concerned about the content of the leaked documents. Mr. President, you're not concerned about the contents of the leaked documents? Have you not been paying attention to what has this? So, I mean, that is a crazy and a troubling thing for the President of the United States to say. On the other hand, into this weighs Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, who comes out yesterday and essentially defends this 21-year-old traitor who leaked the documents, saying, well, there's all sorts of questions. Who is the real enemy behind this? What do you mean, who is the real enemy behind this? Well, he's an enemy to the Biden regime, and so maybe that's why they're coming down on him. Are you crazy, Marjorie Taylor Greene? He's compromised information about troops on the ground in Ukraine. He's put our intelligence people potentially at risk. So, yes, he is the real enemy. This is a big deal. Joe Biden, yes, you should be concerned about the content that was leaked here. Let's take a quick break. Back with more calls in just a moment.
Don't go anywhere. Jeff Wagner is back right after this.
Forgive us, friars, for we have been, well... The Brewers take on the Padres out west.
Rosso, high fly ball, deep right field. Racing back is McCarthy at the track. Bye-bye baseball.
Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 8:05.
And the Brewers having a good time here.
We are the home of the Brewers. WTMJ.
Every day and everywhere they go, these followers of Jesus, they bring the echo of Easter with them.
Easter may be past, but it isn't over. Learn how we can bring the hope and glad good news of Christ's resurrection into the lives of those we meet. Raising the Praise with guest speaker Pastor John Nunes this week on The Lutheran Hour.
The Lutheran Hour, Sunday mornings at 6:30 on WTMJ.
Hi, this is Julie Coombs and Cindy Storm Fisher with Storm Fisher Investment Group.
Are you a retiring professional? Worried about the direction of our economy? About making your money last?
Come see what we can do for you. Let us show you how we take care of you to help you have a great retirement.
We are at 262-796-8400 or stormfisher.com. See you soon.
Securities offered through Securities America Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Arbor Point Advisors LLC. Storm Fisher, Arbor Point, and Securities America are separate entities.
Group sales deals for the Wisconsin State Fair are here. Tickets are $12 each for an order of 50 or more until April 30th. Get additional discounts on your State Fair favorites, too. Check out the groups page at wistatefair.com for more details.
At least twice as big
as the one you gave her when you got engaged.
That's the definition of a big anniversary diamond.
Kessler's has lots of ways for you to go twice as big.
We have twice as big diamonds from diamond mines.
These diamonds come from the fiery heart of Mother Earth. And the ones that exist in the world today are all there will ever be.
Kessler's also has twice as big created diamonds.
These diamonds come from the fiery heart of a ball of lightning, a miniature star, inside a plasma chamber. It's a wonder to behold.
Kessler's also has twice as big flickering firelight diamonds.
These natural diamonds flicker with all the warm colors of firelight instead of the cold colors of ice. Flickering firelight diamonds are another wonder to behold.
And all of these twice as big diamonds are for her.
The best wonder to behold of all. Welcome to Kessler's.
To find the Kessler's nearest you, go to KesslersDiamonds.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
One of our texters asked the $64,000 question. How was this guy able to walk out of the building with documents or have a phone with him to take pictures? Nobody checks anybody when they leave the building or leave the room or whatever. Absolutely. It's one thing. That's it. This wasn't a hack per se. This was somebody with access who was able to print off sensitive documents and then I'm saying photocopy, and then use his phone to take pictures. You would think that at the very least we'd have the same degree of security security that you have at a country western concert where you have to turn your cell phone in before it is that you go into the concert. Let's talk to Paul in Illinois. Hi, Paul. You're on WTMJ.
Yeah, hi, Jeff. Back in 1987, there was a nice thriller called No Way Out.
Kevin
with
Costner.
Gene Hackman.
Yep, great movie.
Kevin Costner, and it had to do with a KGB spy in the military. You'd think we would have had some systems in place as far as who has access to military. It doesn't seem like the KGB needs to infiltrate the military anymore. Heck, you just look online.
Well, exactly, and it is just mind-boggling to me that somebody with who's been in the military for a year or two, simply by nature of, okay, you're a Massachusetts National Guardsman, and that gives you access to some of the nation's most confidential secrets, and there's no review of what you're doing. Paul, I'm not a security guy, but there's got to be a better way.
Yeah, but Jeff, the thing is, though, I mean, you got people that say we can't be spying on American citizens without court orders, and even when you get a court order, you get people complaining. So, I mean, where's your solution?
Yeah, no.
You can't controlling. It's like, I don't know.
Well, thanks for going. Well, I mean, here's my starting point. At least in this particular case, it's if you have access to confidential documents, maybe you should have to turn your cell phone in and drop your cell phone into a plastic bag before you go into work. So and then maybe there should be some degree of security for people watching. Okay, why is this 21-year-old Massachusetts Air National Guardsman? Why is he printing off confidential documents? He's an IT guy. Why does he have access to printing stuff? And then once he prints these documents off, what is he going to do with them? Oh, he's folding them. Don't you have cameras watching people, for goodness sakes? And if not, why not? Big story. Now, he's going to be going to prison for a long time, I hope. We don't exactly know what damage he did to national security, but, moving forward, you got to figure out a way to stop this. Don't you? And the answer, of course, is yes. All right, coming up in the next hour of the program, want to talk about something that's going on in downtown Milwaukee and why. Want to talk about something that's happening tomorrow and a lot more. Stick around. That all comes up right after the top of the hour news.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here. A couple years ago, my knee was acting up. As an athlete, I've played through pain before, but it was getting to the point where I couldn't compete in the sports I loved. I decided to check out Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. It's the best decision I've made. I felt no pressure to have surgery. That was important to me. We had choices. I ultimately did choose to have a procedure. I was in and out in just hours and back in action shortly after. I recommend meeting their doctors. Visit orthowisconsin.com today.
Wealth-changing question. Has your advisor created a portfolio based only on your age and risk tolerance? That's simply not good enough. Your money deserves better, and so do you. At Creative Planning, our private wealth managers learn about you first, and then they create a customized plan and portfolio by partnering with our in-house money managers, accountants, and attorneys. Don't settle for a standard portfolio. Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
What's better than the look and feel of real leather? The amazing prices at Steinhafels.
Keeping you informed, keeping you safe, keeping you engaged and entertained. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 1 o'clock, it is 71 degrees, mostly sunny skies today, high 73 lakeside, 82 degrees inland. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Mike Spalding. There have been 9 fire deaths in the city of Milwaukee so far this year. This after the remains of a woman and a toddler were found inside of a burned-out home on the city's south side. A 27-year-old woman and a 16-month-old baby died in a large house fire near 19th and Burnham Wednesday. Their bodies were discovered Thursday, Assistant Fire Chief Dwayne Smoots.
There was just so much fire, and then the buildings collapsed, and there was no way for me to safely have my firefighters work to go through the rubble, and that's when DPW came through. They helped with the heavy equipment to help us go through the rubble, see if there was anyone there.
The cause of the fire does remain under investigation. The state, meanwhile, is out with another red flag warning.
The warning for counties in central Wisconsin means the risk for wildfire remains very high today. This is the third day a red flag has gone up. The DNR has responded to nearly 100 wildfires across the state in the past week, the largest at Fort McCoy in western Wisconsin, where the Arcadia fire has burned 2,900 acres and is currently being managed. That fire likely started from a controlled burn. The base says it will investigate the matter and why a controlled burn was in place during a dangerous week after that fire is contained. Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
Mark Jensen's headed back to prison. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole this morning. This after a jury again found him guilty of killing his wife, Julie Jensen, back in 1998. In February, a Kenosha County jury spent more than 6 hours deliberating before they returned that verdict. Marks Jensen's second conviction of first-degree intentional homicide for Julie's death. Back in 2008, a jury convicted him after 30 hours of deliberation. He was sentenced to life without parole back then. He was handed that same sentence again this morning. The Milwaukee Police Department releasing a statement saying they, quote, recognize and acknowledge the professional shortcomings and actions of their officers. This after the story in the Journal Sentinel this week revealed the use of derogatory words to describe a woman who came in to report domestic violence. That woman was later killed by her boyfriend. In the Deer District, the activation there is set to get underway this weekend. This as the Bucks begin their playoff run Sunday afternoon. Today, the Bucks and the city of Milwaukee detailed some guidelines meant to ensure a safe experience in and around the Deer District. Who's on third? Owner Bobby Wiltgen tells WTMJ.
They have a great plan. I think they're going to use some video surveillance in the area because, being anonymous is one way to get away with things, but video surveillance in the area, I think they're going to have some limited capacity down there as well, and they're going to have some downtown ambassadors helping people get to and from the games.
Last May, shootings outside the Deer District following a Bucks playoff game left more than 20 people injured. Sports traffic weather next, citing unlimited WTMJ News Times 103.
St. Vincent de Paul Milwaukee seeks a hands-on facility manager to maintain our thrift store and meal program buildings, grounds, and equipment. In this full-time position with benefits, you'll oversee all facility contracted services and perform light maintenance and repairs to buildings and equipment. Technical training in basic electricity, plumbing, carpentry, and/or mechanical is required, and a degree is a plus. Go to svdpmilw.org to learn more and apply. Good luck.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
In Wisconsin, making memories together is for everyone, whatever your ability. So here's to soaking up surf culture right here on Wisconsin's Fresh Coast. To making time for stargazing as a family. And to imaginations cleared for takeoff. Here's to festies with besties. And singing along to your favorite song. Here's to those who Wisconsin. Start your summer getaway at travelwisconsin.com.
So when you're in a pain spiral, will stem cells or bone marrow harvested from your body and then placed back into your body get you out of it? For those willing to go through a very expensive and not exactly easy process, which is not FDA approved, it might. But for those not willing to pay exorbitant amounts to go through all that, especially knowing that pain relief is not a sure thing, it's not an option. At Rejuvenex, we inject powerful, FDA-approved treatments that reduce inflammation and pain while improving mobility in hips, shoulders, elbows, and knees, with some patients experiencing relief for greater than 2 years before repeating the process. I'm Richard Salinas, registered nurse with Rejuvenex Arthritis Pain Clinics, and we are in network with most major insurance plans, including Medicare and Medicaid. We can alleviate your pain, and that'll rejuvenate your life. It's pain relief, really.
Rejuvenex. Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your appointment.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update.
Less than 2 weeks until the NFL Draft, and Aaron Rodgers remains a member of the Green Bay Packers. Yahoo Sports' Charles Robinson believes that will change before too long.
I still think it's 99% happening, and he's already clearly on board with the Jets.
yeah, I just don't know how this doesn't work out.
Robinson, a guest on Willie and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Packers currently on pick number 15 in the first round. Brewers and Padres tonight from San Diego, game 2 of a 4-game series. Milwaukee tied with Atlanta for the best record in the National League at 9-4. Here tonight's game on WTMJ with coverage beginning at 8:05. And the Bucks will learn their first-round playoff opponent tonight. The Miami Heat take on the Chicago Bulls. Winner earns the number 8 seed and will be in Milwaukee Sunday when the playoffs begin at Fiserv Forum. A 4:30 tip. Coverage gets underway at 3 o'clock Sunday afternoon. Greg Matzik, WTMJ Sports.
I'm taking a look at your roads in the Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. 94 outbound downtown out to Highway 16 will take you 15 minutes. 4145 southbound Highway Q into the Zoo interchange, 14 minutes there. 43 northbound from downtown up to Brown Deer Road, that's a 10-minute commute.
Traffic is sponsored by Built Right Furniture, Leather and Mattresses.
For affordable, better quality furniture and mattresses, you've got to get to Built Right today. Built Right Furniture saves you money. 54th and Layton Avenue in Greenfield.
Your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Beautiful start to the weekend. A high 73 degrees today, lakeside. Bit warmer inland, 82. Overnight tonight, mostly clear skies, a low 53. Tomorrow, the weather starts to deteriorate just a bit. Cloudy skies, thunderstorms likely late. A high 70 lakeside, 80 inland. Sunday, mostly cloudy skies, rain showers, scattered thunderstorms, a high 55. Monday, rainy. Chance of some snow showers as well early. No accumulation, though. A high 45. Tuesday, we warm back up a bit. Sunny skies, a high of 50 degrees. In Madison, it is 79. In Green Bay, 80 degrees. Waukesha, 79. Here in Milwaukee, it's 75 degrees. I'm Mike Spalding, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Times 108.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue, it's the Jeff Wagner Show. Now, here's WTMJ's Jeff Wagner.
We are so very glad to have you with us. Good afternoon, Wisconsin, once again. Don't just listen. You can now also watch this program and all of your favorite WTMJ shows. We are starting today streaming live on video from our studios at the Avenue. You can watch online. Just go to our website, WTMJ.com. You can watch through the mobile app. You can watch through the WTMJ YouTube page and on our other social channels. Look while you listen with the WTMJ video stream. All right. Tomorrow is April 15th. Now, April 15th is traditionally tax day. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but because it falls on a Saturday, you have until Monday, the 17th, to have your taxes filed unless you're going to ask for an extension. But there's something else that happens in Wisconsin every April 15th, and that is that the moratorium on the disconnection of people's utilities comes to an end. For those of you who do not know, there is, in the state of Wisconsin, utility companies are not allowed to disconnect people for failure to pay from November 1st through April 15th. And the idea is you don't want disconnections in the middle of winter and things like that. So if you starting November 1st, you can effectively not pay anything towards your utility bill, and nothing is going to happen. I mean, nothing in terms of your utilities aren't going to be turned off. So you kind of get the equivalent of a free lunch until April 15th. And then what happens is you have to pay your back utility bills, make arrangements to pay your utility bills, or in that case, you're going to get disconnected. So nobody, or at least almost nobody, is going to find their utilities turned off tomorrow at 12 noon. What will happen, and it's been the process of happening, is the various utility companies across the state reach out to the people who have not paid and are in arrears and say, look, here's the deal. You have to either pay up or contact us and arrange for some payment plan. And if you fail to do that, you will be disconnected. So I think that the chances of thousands of people having their utilities disconnected from the jump starting Monday morning is very, very rare. But it is going to be a process that starts. And if you have people who have not paid over, like a couple weeks from now, or more importantly, picked up the phone and made arrangements for some sort of payment plan, yes, there are going to be consequences. Now, part of the problem you have is that you have people who are legitimately unable to pay. At the same time, you also have people who game the system. Now, what do I mean by game the system? Well, If you, let's say you have car payments and you don't make your car payments for a couple months, your car is going to be repossessed, right? If you've got, a cell phone, and everybody has cell phones, and you don't pay your cell phone bill for a couple months, they're going to shut off your cell phone. I mean, you're going to have that turned off. If you've got, cable television for people who still have cable television or streaming services, and you stop paying after 60 or 90 days and a couple notices, that's going to be turned off. So you have people who make the conscious decision, I'm not going to pay my utility bill because I know that unlike the cell phone or the car payment or whatever, I know that there's nothing that the utility company can do for me, to me. So I'm going to, continue to just kind of rack up big fees, and then, I'll deal with it when it rolls around in April. And of course, then whenever it rolls around in April, you have a number of people, and I'm looking at a couple stories talking about how this is just going to be terrible and it's going to be a huge crisis, and how dare the utility companies go in and turn off, people's power, and this is going to create a humanitarian crisis. Now, the good news is that this is not 20,000 people, it's not 50,000 people. You're talking about, a few thousand people. But nonetheless, this is the only way that a utility company has to be able to try to force collections. Because a utility company, trust me, the last thing they want to do is turn off somebody's power. They want the money they're owed. Right? That's the deal. They want the money they're owed, and once they turn off somebody's power, their chances of collecting anything on a debt go from slim to almost none. But nevertheless, this is the thing that they do once April 15th rolls around, and for people who refuse to make, again, arrangements to try to pay off the debt. Our number is 855-616-1620. That is the WTMJ talk and text line. All right, disconnections are going to start rolling out sometime, I would imagine, by the end of the month, because now the moratorium has been lifted. Do you have a problem with the the utilities, whether it's We Energies or Alliant or whatever, turning off the power for people who have not paid their utility bills and not made arrangements to pay their utility bills? Our number, 855-616-1620. That's a WTMJ talk and text line. And in evaluating this, keep in mind that the rest of us, those of us who pay our utility bills, we are picking up the tab for the people who don't, because that is factored into the rates that the rest of us get charged. 855-616-1620. Anybody got any objections to turning off the power, the utilities, for people who have not paid and aren't making arrangements to pay? We discuss in just a moment. This is Jeff Wagner.
Don't go anywhere. Jeff Wagner is back right after this. Best record in the league?
With their 58th win of the season.
Check. Number one seed?
As the Bucks have clinched the number one overall seed going into the playoffs.
Check. Next up, another championship.
And the road to the NBA title will go through the Cream City of Milwaukee.
Listen to the Bucks tear through the playoffs right here on the home of the Bucks, WTMJ.
Hey, business owners, are you feeling the pressures of growing your business? Well, it's tough to maintain momentum and still keep employees engaged. Insperity brings over 35 years of HR experience to help you with hiring, training, HR administration, and compliance while giving your employees competitive benefit options. Your people can thrive, your business can adapt, your business can prosper. With Insperity, nothing seems impossible. Scalable HR, employee benefits, HR technology, Insperity, HR that makes a difference.
Mark Tosher here for my friends at Kohler Services. Well, are you ready for a new shower? If you are, Kohler Services is a local end-to-end bath and shower design and remodel service brought to you by Kohler, a family-owned business in Wisconsin for over 150 years. Kohler is the only manufacturer offering fast, professional installation and care for life. Start enjoying your bath or shower right now with a special offer. Visit kswisconsin.com to request your free quote and tell them that I sent you. Again, that's kswisconsin.com.
Hey, boaters!
Well, if you have an old boat, new boat, or in between, then Kendor Marina is a great place for you to shop. Because not only do we have all the parts and accessories you need for almost any kind of boat, we also have the expert advice that just about any boater is one day gonna need. I'm Dave Doro, and boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com. At Kendor Marine, we have everything you need but the water. For over 50 years, boaters have found that to be true. Because when they've needed that old part they thought they'd never find, guess what? They found it here, along with everything else you need to keep your boat out there on the water. This is Dave Doro, and boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
Back for more. Here's WTMJ's Jeff Wagner.
855-616-1620. Starting tomorrow, April 15th, utilities around Wisconsin are able to disconnect people for non-payment. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to automatically start turning off power, tomorrow at noon. But what it means is for people who have fallen behind or refused or declined to pay their utility bills over the course of the last 6 months, in many cases, not because they necessarily couldn't afford to, but rather they decided to prioritize things. I want to make my cell phone payments. I don't want them turning off. I don't want them repossessing my car, whatever. So I'm going to stiff the utility company, and then, we'll deal with it come April. Well, okay, now it is time to pay the piper. Now, the last thing that any utility company wants to do is turn off people's power. They want their money. And there's all sorts of different energy assistance programs that are out there. But the one requirement you have is you got to pick up the phone. You've got to call the company. You've got to make arrangements for some sort of payment plan. I do not think that that is unreasonable, because the bottom line is, for the people who choose not to pay, the rest of us have to pick up the tab. Martha in Elkhorn. Martha, you're on WTMJ. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. I agree with completely everything you just said. We Energy is actually a very, very nice company to work with. They will work with you. And you just have to use your common sense and, like you said, make the calls. If you don't have the money, save it up a little time. Maybe give up your cigarettes or your drinking or whatever. But they're a lovely company, and the people need to use their common sense.
Well, right. And there's
It's not for free. They still have. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. Thanks for the call, Martha. Well, there's also there is a responsibility. I mean, look, and I understand the purpose behind these regulations. I understand that, January 15th, you have people who are behind in their utility payments, whether they really can't pay or whether they've simply decided to game the system. But I understand why you can't turn off the utilities when it's going to be 10 degrees below zero. I understand that. I'm not advocating against the change in the rules. At the same time, though, I think the reality is you got to recognize that you've got a system which is susceptible to being gamed, and as a result, there have to be some consequences. By the way, one of the things that's frustrating to me is that there's no requirement that you make any sort of payment arrangement until this happens. It's not like, hey, I can't pay my utility bill for November, so I've got to call on December 1st and make arrangements for a payment plan. Actually, the way the system works makes it even worse and worse, because let us assume, for the sake of argument, that you have, I don't know, your utility bill is $200 in November, so you don't pay that. Instead of calling in early December and saying, hey, I had problems with this, I can't pay the $200, and going on a payment plan, somebody runs up another $200 in unpaid utility bills in December, and another $300 in utility bills in January, and another $300 in February, and pretty soon the debt has gone from the original $200 to now it's $1,000 or more. And if you had trouble paying the $200, well, how are you going to pay the $1,000? That's why, in many respects, if there was a way to do it, I think people would be better off, getting on some payment plan, making some arrangements early on, or getting in with the different energy assistance programs that are out there. Nobody wants to turn off utilities, but it's the only thing that the utility companies can do, once people essentially refuse to pay and refuse to make any efforts to pay. Mike in Illinois. Mike, good afternoon. You're on WTMJ.
Good afternoon, Jeff. How are you?
Good. What do you think?
Well, we have that similar thing in Illinois. I'm sure most cold weather states have that, and I can appreciate that. But yes, they should be working stuff out even before, not waiting until April 15th. And, there are so many programs out there, and I think there's too many. I think these people who aren't paying their utilities are the same ones that are on food stamps and paying very little taxes, if any. And I just don't think it's fair for the rest of us to have to foot the bill for these people, especially like they know what they're doing. They know what's going on.
Yeah.
And somehow they can make their car payment and they can make their cell phone payment because they have to. If we would force people to do it, they would do it. Of course, there's always going to be some that don't do it.
Right.
But more people would do it if we made them do it.
Yeah, no, Mike, you're absolutely right. And again, one of the things that's frustrating about this is that there's nothing that the utility companies can do to force people during this moratorium period to force people to apply for the energy assistance or whatever, which would be what responsible people would do. Hey, I'm falling behind in my utility bills. I'm struggling. I can't. I've lost my job or whatever. I don't have enough money to pay these utility bills. Okay, well then what you do is you pick up the phone, you call We Energies, and you say, hey, I'm 60 days behind. I want to make a good faith effort to do this. What can you do? And if you make that call, one of the things that's going to happen is We Energies is going to say, well, there's all these different, assistance programs that are out there. Contact them. We'll help put you in touch with them. Because again, at the end of the day, We Energies wants their money. They want to get paid. They don't want to cut off people. But yet you have at least a certain percentage of people who just say, well, I'm not going to deal with this. I understand that there's not going to be any consequences for my behavior until at least April. Okay, then April rolls around and it's like, oh my God, now they're going to get rid of the electricity. There are other flaws in the system as well, because you do have some people who are the chronic offenders, the folks who, okay, I don't care about my credit rating, shut off the utilities under my name, and then we'll figure out a way to, get utilities, we'll take them out in the name of somebody else at the residence. And this is a repeating cycle that goes on. And I don't know how widespread that is. All I know is that it's April 15th now, and for people who have not made arrangements to pay, you got to pick up the phone. You've got to make that call. You got to try to work with We Energies. And yes, it might mean that you have to divert some of the money you have that you haven't been paying utility bills for the last 6 months. You might have to contribute some of that to a payment plan, but I'm sorry, there is no free lunch. Well, at least in some places there's no free lunch, and there's certainly no free utilities. Back with more in just a minute. This is Jeff Wagner.
More Jeff Wagner right after this.
Wake up with me. Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik. Tune in every Monday and Friday at 8:30 for Matzik's Morning Minute. Everything you need to know about all your favorite Wisconsin teams in just 60 seconds.
Goes right back to the hole, and he sends it down. Oh, you did not. Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Mondays and Fridays at 8:30 on Wisconsin's Morning News.
Get up, get out of here, and gone. Brian Anderson just took him out of here in right field.
Sponsored by Holiday Automotive in Fond du Lac.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Differentiation Officer Brian Wickert reminding home shoppers that working with AccuNet is different and better than working with your bank. Most bank pre-approvals state they've only verified the potential home buyer's credit, but not their income or money for down payment. To us, that's just crazy. AccuNet's rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval tells the seller we've checked out all three aspects of your financial health, and that will pay $2,000 if our pre-approval is faulty. Banks don't do that, but they do have a lot of overhead with all their vice presidents and fancy branches. We keep overhead low, which means lower rates and closing costs that are typically $1,000 to $3,000 lower than banks. Most importantly, our loan consultants can show you and your agent how to improve your financing and appraisal contingencies so your offer has the best chance of winning in a multiple offer situation. Hey, don't settle for a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval. Click on the blue button today for your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval. That's ACCUNET.com.
For 3 decades, Top Fitness has been the most respected name in home fitness from coast to coast, and now they've opened their newest and largest showroom in Brookfield. Top Fitness has the biggest and best selection of exercise equipment, accessories, and gym flooring to build your perfect home gym. This month, save big during the annual floor model sale. All floor models must go. Save up to 70% off store-wide for a limited time while supplies last. Plus, save up to $1,000 on Precore treadmills and ellipticals. The Top Fitness team of experts can design your dream workout space with a complimentary 3D home gym design, so you can visualize what getting fit in the comfort and safety of your own home will look like. They offer professional delivery and assembly. Plus, for a limited time, enjoy 12 months of interest-free financing. Stop by Top Fitness in Brookfield on Blue Mound Road and online at topfitness.com. Top Fitness, your best choice in home fitness equipment.
Kessler's is America's largest employee-owned diamond store.
It's the diamond store where the owners think like you do.
As shoppers, we want better prices and more choices.
That's why we give you better prices and more choices.
We don't try to choose for you. We let you choose.
You can choose a diamond from a diamond mine.
A diamond as old as the earth itself.
You can choose a created diamond from a plasma chamber.
A diamond as new and fresh and sparkling as springtime.
And now you can choose a flickering firelight diamond.
Flickering firelight diamonds sparkle with a rich and regal golden glow.
At Kessler's, you choose from 3 different kinds of diamonds.
3 different kinds of diamonds.
Earth diamonds from diamond mines.
Created diamonds from plasma chambers.
And flickering firelight diamonds with a rich, regal golden glow.
We like to have choices, so we give you choices.
Kessler's is the diamond store where the owners think like you do.
Welcome to Kessler's.
Find the Kessler's nearest you at kesslersdiamonds.com.
Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
Join WTMJ as we support the Brewers Community Foundation benefiting the Wisconsin Humane Society, a wonderful cause. Thursday, April 20th, in the parking lot at American Family Field, the Brewers will be accepting donations to benefit those pets sheltered at the Humane Society. Blankets, towels, beds, food, etc. No matter how small the donation, anything helps. Donations start at 7 a.m. Again, that is a week from yesterday, Thursday, April 20th. The Brewers will also be accepting donations during their homestand against the Red Sox, April 21st through the 23rd inside AmFam Field. All right, speaking of like major league teams, of course, the big news is you've got the Brewers that are off to a really good start, a great win in San Diego yesterday. You've got the Bucks, who I think, at least the Las Vegas odds makers say they are the favorites to win the NBA title again. That would be very, very cool. And they start the playoff run on Sunday afternoon. So a lot of stuff in the world of sports. The other story that's going on, that's breaking today, is that the NBA Board of Governors has formally approved the bid of Jimmy and Dee Haslam. These are the folks from Cleveland, to purchase Mark Lazzary's 25% share of the Bucks. So Mark Lazzary, who was part of the original ownership group that bought the Bucks from Herb Kohl in 2014, he's now sold his 25% interest. Here is the interesting takeaway from this to me, and it's whenever I see owners of major league teams, football, baseball, basketball, who kind of plead poverty. And the Bucks, this is not, the Bucks have spent a ton of money on what they've done. But people who say, okay, well, I'm from a small market, or we don't have enough money to do this, or we don't have enough money to do that. I always kind of shake my head on this, because here's the deal. The payoff that owners of teams get isn't necessarily on a given year by the operations. It's when they sell it. For example, Lazzary had a 25% share of the Bucks. They bought the Bucks. Lazzary and Edens bought the Bucks in April 2014 for, well, it was $550 million, but Herb Kohl kicked in $100 million. So it's actually $450 million, and Lazzary had a quarter interest in that. So let's kind of do the math, and his cost, let's say it was around $100 million. I don't exactly know how they figured it out when another person came in and bought a portion of it. But let's say his investment in April 2014 was $100 million to $150 million. No small change, okay? But still, that's his interest. They're reporting that he sold his interest today to this other group, and he's getting $800 million for his share. So again, you buy it for 100, 150 million. Let's say you buy it for 200 million. But let's say that's what that was. You're selling it, 9 years later for 800 million. That's a pretty darn good rate of return. And that is pretty typical in the sports world nowadays. So when you have these owners who say, well, we didn't make that much money this year, that doesn't matter. That's like saying, okay, I got a house that I bought for $150,000, and I'm going to sell it for $900,000 20 years later, but I had to put a new roof on it. Well, you're going to have those ongoing expenses. The payoff for ownership for these really rich people or their hedge funds or whatever, it's not when they buy it. It's not necessarily year to year. It's when you sell it. So when people say, well, we don't have the money to sign this player or sign that player, and look, because our TV contracts are not that great or whatever, well, you're going to get your money. You're going to make a ton of money somewhere along the line. It's just an investment that you have to make along the way. So whenever I hear any of these major league owners, regardless of what the sport is, try to plead poverty and explain why, well, we don't have the money to do this or that or the other thing, I want to blow my whistle and call foul on that, because when they cash out at the end, they're going to get their money, and then they're going to get their money back, and they're going to get a lot more as well. WTMJ Breaking News Time is 1:32 p.m. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center. Here's Mike Spalding.
Thank you, Jeff. The DNR today confirming more than 80 wildfires have occurred across the state in the past week, 21 of them happening yesterday alone. Crews are still busy battling a large wildfire in western Wisconsin. The DNR says that fire near Fort McCoy and Thomas burned about 2,800 acres and is only about 50% contained. A 15-year-old boy from Milwaukee has died after he was struck by a vehicle. According to the Milwaukee Police Department, the boy was crossing 91st Street near Good Hope Road early this morning when he was struck. He was transported to a hospital where he later died. The driver of the vehicle was arrested for operating it with a revoked license and causing death. And Mark Jensen headed back to prison. Jensen sentenced to life in prison today for the 1998 murder of his wife, Julie. It does mark that a jury in February found Jensen guilty for a second time in Julie's death. Time now for some news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is down right now 180 points at 33,850. The Nasdaq down 56 at 12,109. The S&P 500 down 13 at 4133. Annex Wealth Management. Get on track with investment and retirement planning. Visit annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button today. Taking a look at your roads and the Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. Things are looking good this afternoon. No major issues, no delays.
Traffic is sponsored by SB Framing Gallery, Milwaukee's distinctive archival framing.
SB Framing Gallery in the 3rd Ward can enhance and protect your artwork for generations. Framing pieces with archival and distinctive design. Learn more at sbframinggallery.com.
Your WTMJ 5-day forecast, mostly sunny skies today. Beautiful start to the weekend. High about 73 lakeside, get up to 80 degrees inland. Overnight tonight, partly cloudy skies, a low of 55. Tomorrow, mostly sunny skies throughout the morning. Chance of some thunderstorms late, breezy as well. A high 69 lakeside, 74 inland. Sunday, mostly cloudy skies. Rain showers are likely, high of 50. And on Monday, few rain showers are likely, cloudy, breezy, a high of 45 degrees. Here in Milwaukee this afternoon, it's 76 degrees. I'm Mike Spalding, Sighting Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 1:34.
I'm Jeff Wagner. Coming up next, hey, watch where you put those hands, and, maybe you should have thought about this before you did it. I will explain. We will discuss.
Stay tuned. Jeff Wagner returns after this on WTMJ.
The Laugh Out Loud Tony Award-winning play, God of Carnage, comes to Milwaukee Rep this spring. This explosive comedy is all fun and games until the grown-ups get hurt. When two sets of parents politely meet to settle a schoolyard spat between their sons, the gloves come off as neighborly decorum disintegrates into no-holds-barred mayhem. An entertaining look at what happens when the little things push us over the edge. God of Carnage, playing April 18th through May 14th. For tickets, visit MilwaukeeRep.com.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
What keeps you up at night?
My box spring. It supports my mattress, prevents sagging, and gives my bed a little elevation.
You're a literal guy, aren't you?
Well, through Monday at Hasselus Mattress, you can literally get a free box spring with the purchase of a new Sealy Posturepedic or Beautyrest mattress, or take an equal amount off a new adjustable base.
Great. That's going to keep me up at night.
Open 9 to 9. Find a showroom near you or shop online at Hasselus.com.
It's the final days of the Spring Yard Prep event at Fleet Farm. Find great deals on everything you need to bring your yard back to life. Choose from top brands like Husqvarna and Miracle-Gro as you get your yard ready with lawn care equipment and fertilizers. And don't miss this special deal. When you buy 3 bags of Scott's Triple Shred Mulch, you get 3 free. Hurry in during the final days of the Spring Yard Prep event at Fleet Farm.
I know you have a great dog, right? But you know there's room for improvement. At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we can help. Our attention-based training system uses modern technology to help you better communicate with your dog, even in high distraction. When you schedule a free consultation with us, you will have the opportunity to see our training in action and meet for yourself our happy dogs off leash and under control. Contact Sit Means Sit today at 262-361-3641 or find us on the web at sitmeansitwaukesha.com to schedule your free consultation so you can have a happy, confident, and obedient dog.
Welcome back to Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
So very glad to have you with us. All right, so yeah, we were in last week. I was on vacation last week, so I'm coming back to Milwaukee. I'm coming through the airport, and you got to go through TSA, and so I've got a lot of stuff with me, starting with my dog. So and traveling with a pet and it's sort of an issue. I mean, they make it as easy as possible, but nevertheless, I'm worried about the dog. I want to make sure she gets through TSA. And what happens is my dog is like 6.5 pounds, so we have her in a container, and she's under the seat with me. But you got to get through TSA, and to do that, what you have to do is you send her carrying case. You send that through. You take her out of the case, you take like her collar off and stuff, and then you walk her through. So I'm doing that. I've also got a case with a bunch of electronic stuff in it and all. There's a lot of moving parts that are going on, and my wife is helping me, and she's doing her part. But I've got a lot of moving parts that are going on, and I'm trying to get through the TSA thing. And I set off. I don't know whether it was me or Sasha or whatever, but I set off the thing as we're going through that. Okay, all right, at this point in time, and then of course they're opening my bag and looking at all the electronic stuff that I have in the bag, thinking, this is a lot of things as well. No, that's it, but that's fine, that all passes. But I have set off the alarm, so I have to I take the dog and I give the dog to my wife, and we've got all that stuff going on, and then they do a pat down. All right, I said, I don't know what's going on here, but pat me down. That's fine. I don't know what set this off, but I have no problem. And so they move you off to the side, and the nice TSA man comes, and they pat you down, and they use the back of their hands, and they, pat around all these different things, and they look at the scanner, and then they determine that I don't have any weapons or any contraband with me, and then, they send me on my way. It was not that big a deal, and I've understood it, and I've always been extremely sympathetic, and I've said this before on the radio, to the thankless job that TSA officials have. Because the truth of the matter is, whenever people are traveling, traveling nowadays, it's no fun going through airports. Let's face it, it's just no fun at all, and flying isn't particularly fun anymore. And so what people are impatient, people are kind of like irritable, and TSA, from their perspective, look, the bottom line is that if they look at 100,000 passengers, all right, 99,999 are probably going to be benign. If there's something in their luggage that they've forgotten, well, it's a good faith, that they've forgotten it. But if you miss that one time, that one thing that the person smuggles through and they use it to try to hijack a plane or whatever, that's the end of your career. People are going to die, and then it's going to be, okay, how did TSA screw up? So it's a very, very thankless job. So I always try to go out of my way to be as polite as possible, through this. And it doesn't matter how agitated I am with whatever, it's like, okay, this is a thankless job that these people have. I appreciate this. You need to pat me down. Here, it doesn't matter. I don't care what's going on here. I bring this up because there is a story in the Washington Post today. Here's how it starts. It's a question. I'm a woman in my 20s, and I've had TSA flag me for extra screening several times over the years using the millimeter scans often. This involves then TSA agents touching my stomach, my inner thighs, my crotch, and sometimes even inside my waistband. Is there any way to refuse? And the short answer is no. I mean, if you refuse, they're not going to let you on the plane. So, I mean, when you set off one of these scans, this is now the job that the TSA people have to do. And they use females for female scans, and they use males to do the male body checks. But no, you don't have a right to refuse. But anyhow, the story goes on to talk about how this woman is all upset with the fact that, she has to go through these pat-downs. Our number is 855-616-1620. That is the WTMJ talk and text line. I was thinking about this because I guess it never, like when it happened last week, it doesn't bother me. I mean, I understand that these people, these TSA agents, have a job to do. And is it a nuisance? Yes. Are some people more sensitive to having people touch them? And again, the way they do it is they use the back of their hands. It's not like people are grabbing things or anything like that. But, you're doing this pat down to make sure that somebody's not trying to smuggle an explosive device or whatever. But I guess it never occurred to me, other than, gosh, okay, this is going to delay me a little bit and it's a little bit of a nuisance. It never occurred to me to say, well, I just hate the fact that TSA is doing this type of stuff. I want to be able to refuse these pat downs. 855-616-1620. That's the WTMJ talk and text line. Look, if you get flagged for this and they need to pat you down, I guess my take is they're just trying to do their job, cooperate, move on, and then, everything will be okay. But if you throw a fit and get difficult, all you're going to do is make it hard for the agents. You're going to make it hard on yourself, and you're going to make it hard on everybody else who's just trying to get through and get to their gates. 855-616-1620. Get nailed for one of those pat-down searches. Is it going to bother you? We discuss.
Stay tuned. Jeff Wagner returns after this on WTMJ.
Outdoor Living Unlimited turns yards into patios and decks, fire pits, pavers, retaining walls, even screen rooms and outdoor kitchens. Come see it all at the unique Outside In Gerke's Corners showroom they share with Siding Unlimited, the best installer of siding, of course, but also windows, doors, roofing, and decks. Their combo open house is Saturday, April 22nd from 9 to 1. Meet the product reps and Siding Unlimited and Outdoor Living Unlimited teams. Check out sidingunlimited.com and outdoorlivingunlimited.com. Open house Saturday, April 22nd from 9 to 1.
At Evans Transportation, they love the sound of Milwaukee baseball. Bats cracking, crowds cheering, brats grilling. And Evans is a big fan of manufacturing runs, both on the diamond and in supply chain management. When manufacturers have accounting, shipping, and tracking needs, they come to Evans. Because just like in baseball, teams who know how to manufacture runs have the best chance of long-term success. Good luck to the Brew Crew from Evans and Delafield. Find them at evanstrans.com.
You can search for the biggest bat selection, but I'm here to save you time because the best baseball and softball bat selection in the Midwest is right here at Burkhart Sporting Goods. We stock just about every bat on the market from all the top manufacturers like Easton, DeMarini, Louisville Slugger, Marucci, and more, and sell them all at the guaranteed lowest prices. So get in here and try a few out in our indoor batting cages. There's no need to look any further because when it comes to bats, if you want it, we got it at Burkhart Sporting Goods.
You can't beat Burkhart.
When you run a team, you want great uniforms, and you know selling spiritwear is vital. That's why Burkhart Sporting Goods will create a free custom website for you to sell your families and players the coolest spiritwear from Nike and Under Armour, as well as the basics, while helping you fundraise at the same time. We take the hassle out of coordinating your team's apparel and make shopping and buying easy. So when you need awesome spiritwear and uniforms for your organization, you can't beat Burkhart.
You can't beat Burkhart.
If you're looking for the finest of furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com.
What if you could build a six-figure retirement income with almost half the money saved? You heard that right. Get a discount on your retirement, creating a six-figure income with 40% less than traditional 401ks and mutual funds. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, best-selling author and executive producer of a new Hollywood documentary called The Baby Boomer Dilemma. In this film, economists and Nobel Prize-winning PhDs from Wharton, MIT, and Stanford share a strange concept called the retirement discount. It gives you more retirement income with the same dollar saved, and your money is never at risk if the market crashes. That's right. If the market crashes 30%, you lose nothing. Even people who are on track have shifted money to this new strategy because it increases their retirement income or can allow them to stop working years sooner. So if you're 50 or older and want a bigger, better retirement, call Mitch Lyons Wealth to get a free copy of this brand new movie at 1-800-578-3535. This is a $30 value, but when you call today, you'll get it completely free. Plus, I'll include a copy of my book, Retirement of Steel. And I'll even pay your shipping and handling. No credit card required. Call right now. 1-800-578-3535. That's 1-800-578-3535.
Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
855-616-1620. So I was coming through TSA last week, coming back, and I'm still not exactly sure what I did to set off the metal detector, but I set off the metal detector. Okay, fine. So what they do is they move you off to the side, and then they do this quick cursory sort of pat down, and then they send you on your way. I had no problems with this at all. Big story in the Washington Post about some woman who's complaining that she apparently sets off these detectors all the time, and she's like, I hate the fact that these TSA agents are patting me down, and is there any way I can refuse to do this? And the answer is, not if you want to get on the plane. You can't, but I'm like, really, this is all part of, welcome to the post 9/11 world where we're going to be screened, and yes, it's going to be an inconvenience, but this is, my guess is the TSA agents, they don't want me to pat them down. They don't want to pat me down just as much as I don't necessarily want to be patted down. Let's start with Kelly in Slinger. Hi, Kelly. You're on WTMJ.
Hi, Jeff. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
So I fly, several times a year, and, usually for vacation, and I'm often with my kids. And I think it's been just about every time that I've been pulled aside for a pat down.
Really?
And it's, yep. And, it's random, I'm sure, but it's always a woman that does the pat down. She tells me exactly what she's going to do, and they're always very respectful. And they don't make a big show about it. I don't feel violated. Once they're finished, I'm on my way. So they're doing their job. It's not a big deal.
Right. And as I was saying earlier, Kelly, it's a thankless job. I mean, because if they miss something, and the chances are, like, you're not smuggling something on, I'm not smuggling something on, but God forbid if they should ever miss that and something bad happens, that it's going to be this international story and people are going to be dead, and you're going to be wondering, okay, how did this person miss that? It's a fact of life that this is what has to happen, that this is what has to happen.
Well, and I also want to show my kids that it's okay. They don't have to make a big deal about it. They don't need to be nervous about it. It could happen to them, and that they need to be respectful. And after they're finished, I usually tell the TSA agent, thank you for doing your job. Thanks for keeping us safe. Yeah,
exactly. And that's the attitude that you have. And I try to, when I'm doing this, regardless of what my mood is, I always try to be kind of upbeat. You try to be cooperative. Hey, how are you having a good day? That type of stuff, because it makes it easier to go through this. Here's a text. Jeff, my family and I were going on spring break a couple of weeks ago, and my husband absentmindedly put his cigar lighter in his carry-on instead of his checked bag without realizing it was contraband. The TSA agent flagged it. When they looked at his bag, pulled him off to the side, found the lighter, found the torch. That's what they called it, and explained that it couldn't be brought in on a carry-on bag, and that he could either discard it or take it back to our vehicle. My husband actually asked the TSA agent if he was a cigar smoker and if he would like it. The TSA agent appropriately said, no, thank you. I appreciate it. I am a cigar smoker, but I can't accept these types of items, and you're more than welcome to take it back to your vehicle. That is exactly what I would expect of a TSA agent and what I appreciate out of a TSA guy. They are only, and gal, they're only there to keep me and my family safe. I think people that complain about this need to see the bigger picture. Jeff, I have an artificial knee. I always set off the alarm and I get pulled aside. Yes, Jeff, the woman complaining is setting off the alarm for a reason. She should find out why and adjust herself to accommodate to not set off the alarm. Jeff, I usually get to use the employee line, but on the rare occasion I have to use the giant magnometer, I always get stopped for my abdomen, et cetera, et cetera. And so, that kind of, goes through this. One of our texters is saying that it's a female texter who was saying that it was her bra that kept setting this thing off when this ended up happening. But okay, and she's learned that I can't wear this particular style of bra when I go through this because whatever is in the bra is setting off the metal detector. Larry, you're on WTMJ. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
What do you think?
Well, every time that me and my wife go through TSA, she's astonished that she's not paying.
I'm sorry, Larry. I got to let you go because we were losing your cell phone there. I think Larry was going to say that his wife gets stopped every time they go through TSA. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're getting stopped every time, there's something that's going on, and maybe it's a hip replacement, maybe it's a knee replacement, maybe it's something that you're leaving in your pocket, whatever. But the bottom line here is the TSA people aren't the bad guys, and if people just cooperate, you get through it. We all move on, and we get on with our days instead of writing a letter to the Washington Post complaining that you're getting patted down and saying, can I refuse? And again, bottom line is the answer is no, you can't if you want to get on the plane. Back with more in just a minute. This is Jeff Wagner.
More Jeff Wagner right after this.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. The current economic climate may look grim, but how menacing is it to your retirement plan? Join us Wednesday, April 19th at 11 a.m. for Inflation, Rate Hikes, and Bears Oh My, a special webinar with Dave Spano of Annex Wealth Management. We'll take a historical look and share how inflation, rate hikes, and volatile markets have an impact on retirement planning and what you can do. Inflation and Rate Hikes and Bears Oh My, the webinar, Wednesday, April 19th at 11 a.m. Complete details and registration at annexwealth.com/events.
Advent founder Dr. Madan Kandula on Advent's one-stop-shop office-based procedures approach to solving breathing triangle problems.
A lot of folks are like, I don't want to go to surgery. Isn't there something else we can do? And at Advent, there is something else we can do. We have a whole host of office-based options where you don't have to go to surgery. We could do it under local anesthesia, get these things taken care of. How does that sound? And don't be surprised when you hear that a lot of people go for those options. When given the choice between surgery and office procedures, almost everybody that we talk to and give them the choice, they choose the office. That's not surprising. That's just understanding your patients and offering them the options that they would choose. So I think at Advent, when you put all that together, we are a one-stop shop for these issues.
Schedule your appointment at adventknows.com today because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Staples stores provide innovative products and services for small business, remote workers and learners, even teachers and parents. Explore more at your local Staples store.
Gruber Law Offices, a proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks.
In Wisconsin, our festivals and events are in full swing all summer long. Here's to seeing legendary golfers at the U.S. Senior Open Championship in Stevens Point, to joining thousands of your closest music-loving friends at Summerfest in Milwaukee, and to wondering, where art thou, Romeo, at the Wisconsin Shakespeare Festival premiere this summer in Eau Claire. Here's to those who Wisconsin. Find more summer events at travelwisconsin.com.
Mark Tosher here for my friends at Kohler Services. Well, are you ready for a new shower? If you are, Kohler Services is a local end-to-end bath and shower design and remodel service brought to you by Kohler, a family-owned business in Wisconsin for over 150 years. Kohler is the only manufacturer offering fast, professional installation and care for life. Start enjoying your bath or shower right now with a special offer. Visit kswisconsin.com to request your free quote and tell them that I sent you. Again, that's kswisconsin.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. You're listening to Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
Yeah, this is probably a career killer here. Kettle Moraine girls basketball coach Todd Hansen resigned this week. All right, big question. Why did the girls basketball coach resign? There's a Wagner's Rule of Life in here. Kettle Moraine girls basketball coach Todd Hansen resigned this week amid a reported citation from the City of Brookfield Police Department. Okay, that doesn't sound good. For solicitation of prostitution stemming from a sting operation. The City of Brookfield Police Department Special Investigations Division conducted an undercover operation on March 28, 2023 that resulted in citations to 5 people for solicitation of prostitution, according to a department statement. Oops. One of those individuals who received the citation was identified as Mr. Todd Hansen, the girls' basketball coach at Kettle Moraine High School. The statement said. In a news release from Kettle Moraine School District today, the investigation was cited when clarifying Hansen's affiliation as a former employee of the district. The Kettle Moraine School District recently became aware of an investigation of a former employee, Mr. Todd Hansen. The district had no prior knowledge or concerns with Mr. Hansen's employment in advance of these allegations. Mr. Hansen no longer works in the Kettle Moraine School District. When asked for further clarification on when the district became aware of this issue, the school district director of public information said, "This incident took place during our spring break. Mr. Hansen resigned for personal reasons shortly thereafter." Yeah, I think that's the case. Hansen, who also served as a paraprofessional in the district, recently led the team to their second consecutive WIAA Division I state championship. He was hired in July of 2018. The statement said that he had resigned from coaching and educational support roles due to personal reasons. Well, that's it. Like I say, there is a Wagner's Rule of Life that's floating around here, and it would probably be, well, I don't know, regardless of the nature of your employment, but particularly if you were employed, I don't know, as a high school basketball coach, a girls' high school basketball coach, getting involved in a sting operation that involves solicitation of prostitution during your spring break, probably not a great career move. Right up there with Wagner's Rule of Life number 4, which is nothing good happens outside a strip club at 2 o'clock in the morning. Hey, here's a good piece of news. Port Washington Fish Day. Now, Fish Day, for those of you who might not be familiar with this, for years and years and years, Fish Day was a really big thing that happened in Port Washington, and this year it's going to run July 13th to the 15th. Port Washington's Fish Day it was canceled because the organizers had trouble getting enough support for it and getting enough volunteers and things like that, so they announced it was going to be canceled. Well, apparently what happened is after that was announced last January, community members got together and they said, hey, we're going to revive this, and more than 50 people responded to a call from the mayor, and what they decided to do is, hey, we're going to try to put this on. So, again, there's going to be a parade, there's going to be fireworks, they're going to have the fish fries that they do. It's a testament to me, though, of the fact that you have these institutions, and the institutions are important to the community, and sometimes you have people who are running them that have decided, well, this just doesn't make sense anymore. People have taken this stuff for granted, and then once you realize that something is disappearing, it's going away, you have other groups that come forward and say, no, we want to do our part. Will it be successful this year? Will there be enough interest to carry on to next year? I don't know. But people who care about some of these events, like Port Washington's Fish Days, well, at least now you have a chance to demonstrate that by going out and supporting the event. When we come back, well, lots of stuff coming up in the 2 o'clock hour of the program. Don't go anywhere. This is Jeff Wagner, WTMJ.
Stick around. Jeff Wagner is right around the corner.
Build your wealth.
I want to talk about annuities and variable life insurance policies. And I'm going to come right out and say that I've never been a fan of either. In fact, in over 30 years, I have rarely recommended annuities to clients. And in that same time, I've never recommended a variable life insurance policy. Now, it's always a matter of opinion, and there are 2 sides to every story. I just want to make sure that you've heard both sides for both options. So if you're looking at those types of products, give us a call, because it's prudent to hear all sides. At the very least, we can give you the pros and cons and help you make a good decision. I'm Jim Cantrell with Financial Strategies, Inc., a fee-only, comprehensive financial planning firm, and I believe we can show you a wiser way to build your wealth. So go to financialstrategiesinc.com and schedule a no-cost consultation.
Financial strategies, a wiser way. to build your wealth.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
The place to get caught up, to speak out, to connect and be entertained. We are Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 2 o'clock, it is 71 degrees, mostly sunny skies today, high 73 lakeside, about 82 degrees inland. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Mike Spalding. After 2 trials in a 25-year-old case, Mark Jensen heading back to prison.
But first, Mark Jensen asked for the possibility of parole.
Judge, I ask you to grant parole eligibility.
Jensen speaking at his own sentencing hearing today, citing his ability to be a productive member of the community and his relationships with his 3 sons as reasons to be granted parole.
It has taken their entire lives. And now with the second verdict, I realize this case needs resolution, where there will be no closure for my boys.
Ultimately, though, the judge said,
no parole, life imprisonment.
Then asking WTMJ News.
A 15-year-old boy has died. Police say he was struck by a vehicle late last night while he was attempting to cross 91st and Good Hope. The boy was struck by a car. He was then transported to a hospital where he later died. The driver of that vehicle was arrested and stayed on scene. Criminal charges are going to be heading to the Milwaukee County DA's office. The Milwaukee Bucks, meanwhile, set to kick off their playoff run Sunday, and the city and team are now detailing plans for keeping the area safe both during and after games.
Fans can expect to see more police.
The presence of our officers will be very notable in and around the arena.
Assistant Police Chief Paul Formolo also pushing fans to leave it at home. Anything that can't be brought into the arena shouldn't be left in a car. As for the Deer District, only 1 screen to start this playoff run, and there won't be a cap on the number of fans let in. However, President Peter Fagan says they will be closely monitoring the crowd.
It's going to be very controlled. It's going to be very distributed.
Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
Those security changes come after shootings outside the Deer District left 21 people injured following a playoff game last May. Heinz Weisberger, he owns Old German Beer Hall at MLK Drive, telling Wisconsin's Morning News he believes the onus is on the Bucks to keep things secure. An update on the Northridge Mall saga, a judge ruling this morning that the long-abandoned mall will not be taken over by the city of Milwaukee, at least for now. Milwaukee County Circuit Judge William Sosnay says that if accepted the city's request, he would then be acting in contrary to the court's authority. However, the judge also said that he may reconsider the matter depending on the decision made by the Wisconsin Court of Appeals, which could come later this year. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time, 2:03.
This report sponsored by Mr. Holland's Heating and Air Conditioning. Visit MrHollandsHeatingandAir.com.
Don't be fooled. Some so-called professionals are ready to pull a fast one to get your money. But do you really need what they're pushing? Or are they shilling to fill a sales quota? And once the money clears your account, who can you count on for service? This is April Fool's Month, so don't be bamboozled by fast-talking, fancy-pants salesfolk pressuring you to do something that sounds too good to be true. If you're searching for a trustworthy source for a new comfort system, water heater, or an electrical upgrade, give Mr. Holland's Home Services a call. Our team can walk you through all the options and answer every question so that you can make an informed decision. Plus, with Mr. Holland's upfront pricing, the price we say is the price you pay. No pressure, no hidden fees, no fooling. Call 866-992-1717 or visit MrHollandsHomeservices.com. If you're ready for more cool and less fool, we can help.
Hey, boaters!
It's a boater's do-it-yourselfer's dream store. Kendor Marine stocks thousands of boat parts and supplies. Just about everything you'd ever need to keep your boat up and running. Whether it's common or something you think might be discontinued, you can bet on us having it. So don't be surprised when we have just what you need. I'm Dave Doro, and boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey, boaters! Cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
Hey, boaters!
Some call them oddball parts, but we call them a huge part of our inventory. Dave Doro here from Kendor Marine. With thousands of boat parts and supplies stacked right here in our store, you won't have to look elsewhere. If you need it, chances are we got it, along with expert advice to get your job done right. Hey, boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey, boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update.
Less than 2 weeks until the NFL Draft, and Aaron Rodgers remains a member of the Green Bay Packers. Yahoo Sports' Charles Robinson believes that will change before too long.
I still think it's 99% happening, and he's already clearly on board with the Jets. Yeah, I just don't know how this doesn't work out.
Robinson, a guest on Willie and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Packers currently own pick number 15 in the first round. Brewers and Padres tonight from San Diego, game 2 of a 4-game series. Milwaukee tied with Atlanta for the best record in the National League at 9-4. Here tonight's game on WTMJ with coverage beginning at 8:05. And the Bucks will learn their first-round playoff opponent tonight. The Miami Heat take on the Chicago Bulls. Winner earns the number 8 seed and will be in Milwaukee Sunday when the playoffs begin at Fiserv Forum. A 4:30 tip. Coverage gets underway at 3 o'clock Sunday afternoon. Greg Manzik, WTMJ Sports.
Taking a look at your roads with the Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic update. 94 outbound downtown to Highway 16 will take you about 16 minutes. 4145 southbound Highway Q into the Zoo interchange. That is currently a 13-minute ride. Northbound 43 from the Marquette interchange up to Brown Deer Road. That is a 10-minute ride. Heading further northbound, though, at Mequon Road, there is a crash that has the left lane blocked, so you'll be backing up starting right north of Capitol Drive-ish. So you'll be tapping your brakes a little bit as you head up north towards the Mequon-Thiensville area. So just be aware as you're heading in that direction, you might be slowing down just a bit. While 94 southbound downtown to Layton Avenue, that's your standard 6-minute trip.
Traffic is sponsored by Trees on the Move. From planning to planting, it's Trees on the Move. We all look forward to outdoor living in Wisconsin. From planning to planting and everything in between, now is the perfect time to let Trees on the Move beautify your landscape.
Your WTMJ 5-day forecast, mostly sunny skies today, high 73 degrees, lakeside 82 inland. Overnight tonight, mostly clear skies, a low 53. Tomorrow, cloudy skies, thunderstorms likely late, a high 70, lakeside 80 inland. Sunday, rainy. Some thunderstorms are possible, cloudy and breezy as well, a high 55. Monday, a few rain and snow showers early, no accumulation though, cloudy skies, a high 45. Tuesday, mostly sunny, a high of 50 degrees. In Madison, it is 80. Green Bay, it's 80. Waukesha, 81. Here in Milwaukee, it's 77 degrees. I'm Mike Spalding, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 2:07.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue, it's the Jeff Wagner Show. Now, here's WTMJ's Jeff Wagner.
Good afternoon, Wisconsin. Welcome back to the show. Understand people are going out and about, getting ready for the weekend. Sounds like tomorrow is going to be great. Sunday, it's kind of back to your typical spring in Milwaukee, but we've had a great week. Matter of fact, I just got a note. My dear friend Mary is heading out to. They've got a trailer that they spend weekends at, and they're heading out to open that trailer up. So special shout out to my friend Mary, who's en route. Again, tonight sounds good. Tomorrow during the day sounds good. Sunday, not so much. So just enjoy the time. Hey, something that's going on tonight, as Greg was just talking about, the Brewers are, of course, out of town. They're on a 10-game road trip on the West Coast. I mean, they started in Arizona. Now they're in San Diego. Then they go up to Seattle. And this is one of those deals where if the Brewers... If they can go 5-5, for example, if they can play 500 ball on the road on what's always a very challenging road trip when you have to go out west, that would be just a huge success. And they've won 2 and lost 2. Really, really good game last night. And this baseball team, it's fun, it's exciting, it's fun to watch. But while the Brewers are gone, there's something going on at American Family Field both tonight and tomorrow night, and that is country music superstar Morgan Wallen, who is, I guess, is he still controversial? He's the guy that the cancel culture lashed out at a couple years ago because it was one of those deals where, if you remember the story, he's coming home late at night and he's had a few cocktails and he's captured on his neighbor's security camera using language that was inappropriate, including a racial slur. Now, I don't know that context matters, and I'm one of these people that argue that there's some words that you should never use. in the context he was using it, it was, I don't want to say affectionate, but it was kind of like he wasn't using it in a, I want to try to demean him. He would say, hey, this is, and he was doing it in that fashion. Still inappropriate, no question about it. And so, once this news broke, there was this outrage that was there, and he was temporarily, his music was taken off some country radio stations, and he wasn't eligible for awards for a year or something. But that did nothing to kill his career. And his album has been on the country charts for a long, long time, and he's back on tour, and he's going to be playing 2 sold-out stadium shows as he kicks off his 2023 tour. He's going to be at American Family Field tonight and tomorrow night with these shows. I was looking at the prices of tickets. At least as of a day or so ago, according to the local newspaper, if you wanted to get a ticket in the back row of the 200 section, you could get that for around $200. If you wanted to be up closer, like first or second row before what they describe as the pit, where you're going to have like people standing there, that would be about $800, maybe a little bit more. For tomorrow night, the shows, if you wanted to be the 300 section way in the very back, $102. If you wanted access to like the pit, $1,000. So you're talking about, regardless, a good chunk of change. You're talking about, well, for example, tonight, at least $200 to get in the door, and up to perhaps $800 if you can find tickets. So it's a good chunk of change. There's a story in the New York Times that talks about, well, the headline is, live music is roaring back, but fans are reeling from sticker shock. And it goes on to describe how there's a guy who's, for example, it's a gal. She said she's been to about 180 Springsteen concerts over the years, but that she's passing up on the current tour because they're using this thing called dynamic pricing, which allows costs to rise and fall with demand, and some tickets were going for up to $5,000. And then the story goes and it talks about how this dynamic pricing process has been, kicking in, and for a lot of, especially the big name entertainers, the prices have just, gone through the roof to the point that you can't begin to even get into the place unless you're going to commit for $250, and quickly you can see tickets that go for up to $1,000. And the point is that there's a lot of people and there's a lot of fans who love the music but are nevertheless saying that there's a limit as to how much that we are willing to pay. All right, our number is 855-616-1620. That is the WTMJ talk and text line. Prices are going up all over. It costs more for almost everything. That is a reality. Is there a limit, a dollar limit on what you will pay to see a performer? 855-616-1620. That's a WTMJ talk and text line. Is it one of these deals where, hey, it doesn't matter. I want to see Springsteen. I want to see Cher. I want to see Billy Joel. I want to see Elton John, whoever, whatever the performer would be. Is there a limit? And do you find yourself going to fewer sorts of events because the price of tickets is getting so high? 855-616-1620. That's the WTMJ talk and text line. And by the way, that's one of the reasons why events like Summerfest continue to be the best deal going, because you can see so many performers for reasonable sorts of prices. But you've had this explosion of costs. Part of it is due to inflation. Part of it is due to you've got performers who, especially after being shut down because of COVID or whatever, and promoters who are trying to cash in and get whatever they can. But is this limiting the number of shows that you're willing to go see? 855-616-1620. We discuss in a moment.
More Jeff Wagner right after this. When severe weather strikes, you can count on WTMJ's Fleet Farm severe weather coverage to keep you safe and informed.
Tornado warnings in effect for Jefferson and Walworth counties.
I'm on Highway 11 now. For the last 5 minutes or so, it's been just an immense lightning storm.
If you're in Delavan, go to a place of shelter now.
Severe weather coverage on WTMJ. Sponsored by Fleet Farm, proudly serving the Midwest since 1955.
Outdoor Living Unlimited turns yards into patios and decks, fire pits, pavers, retaining walls, even screen rooms and outdoor kitchens. Come see it all at the unique Outside In Gerke's Corners showroom they share with Siding Unlimited, the best installer of siding, of course, but also windows, doors, roofing, and decks. Their combo open house is Saturday, April 22nd from 9 to 1. Meet the product reps and Siding Unlimited and Outdoor Living Unlimited teams. Check out sidingunlimited.com and outdoorlivingunlimited.com. Open house Saturday, April 22nd from 9 to 1.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Brian Wickert back to report even more home buyers paid over the asking price last month, rising to 50% in the 5-county metro area. 3 out of 10 paid $10,000 or more above that list price. The good news is appraised values are generally keeping up with the over-asking offers. Still, the most powerful thing a buyer can do to make their offer the most attractive in a multiple offer situation is to give the seller some appraisal wiggle room. Telling the seller you're willing to pay over the asking price, even if the house appraises lower, sounds scary because most buyers think they have to fill that potential gap with more down payment. But in the vast majority of cases, AccuNet is showing home buyers how they can offer appraisal wiggle room without bringing a nickel more to closing. Appraisal wiggle room is like a good card trick. You need to see it to believe it. So if you're home shopping with a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval, upgrade today to an AccuNet rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval by clicking on the blue button at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
This is Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
Eight 616-1620. Jeff, Red Hot Chili Peppers, last Saturday night in Minneapolis, $750 per person, floor seats, 10 rows behind the standing room pit in front of the stage. It's a bucket list item, or we'd have skipped it because of the cost. Jeff, I paid $600 to see the Rolling Stones a few years back. Lousy seats, super expensive beverages, never again for any act. Jeff, no more concerts for me. Well, that's it. Jeff, if the people need cash right now to pay for the show, they would not go, but since they can charge it, they don't care. See, that's my takeaway on this as a starting point. For everybody who wants to complain, legitimately so, about the prices for these shows being jacked up, you know what you do to stop it? You don't pay it. If people wouldn't pay these stupid amounts, then what would happen is the prices would come back to normal. But I mean, I'm a free market guy. I'm the ultimate capitalist. If you can get $5,000 for a ticket to see, whoever, and people are willing to pay that, well, okay. Is whose fault is it that there's somebody out there? But rather, if people collectively said this is crazy. Hey, we like this band, but it's not worth $1,000 to go get a ticket to see the show times 4, so it's not worth $4,000. And then of course you've got the $25 beers on top of that. If people would just simply follow Nancy Reagan's advice and just say no, maybe this wouldn't happen. 855-616-1620. Let's start with Tony on the Northwest Side. Tony, good afternoon.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Tony.
Jeff, I'm a big Springsteen fan. I have 58 shows on my resume, but the most I paid for a ticket during that time was like $100. I even went out to Jersey a few times. That was really cool. But in Jersey, the one time we went for the new stadium, I was in line for a beer, and I thought, I gave the guy a 10. He said, "You need more." I gave him 15. You need more. It was $18.
Yeah.
And I bought one beer.
Yeah, no kidding.
But Bruce was one of the guys that usually kept his tickets lower than everybody else. However, what's going on now, and this last time he played, I didn't go.
Yeah.
I just said, no, it's ridiculous. I don't go. When I saw the set list, I was kind of pissed, but because it was so good. But I'm not paying that.
Yeah, no, thanks. And that's kind of the reality about this, Tony. I would tell you how I'm dealing with. I find myself going to more shows of new artists and things like that, and it's not so much do you have the disposable income to do it, but it's like, okay, I've seen fill in the blank, seen Willie Nelson. Don't mean to pick on Willie Nelson. Seen John Mellencamp. Seen these performers multiple occasions. Seen Rod Stewart on multiple occasions. And do I want to spend, $300 or $400 or whatever the price of the ticket is, even if you can afford it? Do you want to spend that for somebody that you've seen on multiple occasions, or would you be better off, I don't know, taking $25 and finding some music, some maybe new up-and-coming people? But here's the reality, as long as they're selling out and people are willing to spend $300 and $400 and $500 or $1,000, as long as they're getting that money, they're going to continue to get that money. So we really, in many respects, I think, only have ourselves to blame for this. David in Brookfield. David, you're on WTMJ.
Hi. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I was telling your screener, I guess it's kind of with me, I mean, how committed you are to an artist. I mean, how you said that I've seen multiple artists multiple times, and I'm not really committed to saying I want to go see them again if the prices continue to go up.
Mm-hmm.
But this summer, we're flying out to Colorado to go see a band at Red Rocks.
Right.
And it's a band that we wanted to see, that my wife, we've seen them growing up, and we're just going to jump on a plane, fly out there, and do it. Went and saw Foo Fighters when they were here in Milwaukee. Probably going to see them again, and I'll probably get VIP seats just because they put on a great show, and I want to see who their new drummer is.
How much? I'm just curious for the show you're going to see in Colorado. How much are you paying per ticket?
Actually, the ticket isn't that much because it's not it's Big Head Todd and the Monsters.
Okay.
So it's a band, but the whole trip is probably going to cost me $2,000.
Yeah.
But I guess if you look at it as it's a night of entertainment, and if you go to Potawatomi Casino and you're spending $500. It's a night of entertainment, and that's how you look at it.
No, David. I get it.
I guess I kind of approach it.
No, thanks. Well, again, and I'm not telling people how to spend their money. I mean, people get to make those choices. I guess what strikes me about this is it seems that at some point in time, there's a limit where people either have to say, okay, these costs have gotten just completely out of line, and yes, I'd love to see this particular artist, but I'm not going to drop $500 or I'm not going to drop $1,000 to see this particular artist, and so I'm going to pass on that. And once people start doing that collectively, and the things don't sell out, and they're looking at, okay, well, we were charging X amount of dollars and we're not getting it, and we're 2 weeks before the show and we only have half of the show sold out and things like that. Once that happens, the pricing structure is going to change. But as long as people are willing to pay that, and I was going to use the phrase stupid money, that's not fair. If that's how you want to spend your money and do it, that's fine. But we have to understand that we are our own worst enemies when it comes to that, because by paying the increasing freight for this, all we do is we enable the promoters and the artists or whatever to continue to charge more and more. And it's a free market. There's nothing wrong with that. But until people simply say, okay, we're not going to pay the $350, and I admit I have been guilty of that in the past. As I get a little bit older, I'm starting to change a little bit about that, because I'm thinking of some of the shows that I have been to and paid what I consider to be stupid money for some of these shows, and then kind of walk out saying, I don't know, that was okay, but that was a lot of money for that particular ticket, and there's a lot of other stuff that I could have done with that, or I could have seen, I don't know, for that same amount of money that I paid for that one ticket, I could have gone to 5 or 6 shows of maybe lesser known performers, probably enjoyed it just as much, and by the way, not had to spend $24 for a beer. Just saying. Nevertheless, the Morgan Wallen concert tonight is going to be packed. The Morgan Wallen concert tomorrow is going to be packed. And my guess is the rest of the tour is going to be packed as well. Back with more in just a minute. This is Jeff Wagner, WTMJ.
More Jeff Wagner right after this. Start planning for your retirement today so you enjoy retirement tomorrow. Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday mornings at 7, where Tony Drake and his Education First team discuss retirement trends, taxes, inflation, and Social Security benefits to help you achieve a more secure financial future.
Join us this week as we discuss market volatility and ways to protect and ensure your retirement savings.
Retirement Ready with Tony Drake on WTMJ.
You might not think of Burkhart for corporate uniforms and other business apparel, but you should, because a lot of businesses do. And it's because most times we're cheaper than our competition on the same high-quality apparel choices that the other guys offer, plus Nike and Under Armour that the other guys can't get. So for businesses and corporations, if you want your employees to look great while representing your brand, and you want to get your apparel for less, you can't beat Burkhart, your business uniform specialists.
You can't beat Burkhart.
The task of lining up your group apparel sales can take up a lot of your time, but Burkhart Sporting Goods can make it so easy. The group sale web stores that we provide our customers at no charge to line up their team or corporate apparel sales is a simple way of gathering all the info you need. It's easy to work, easy to understand, and with it, you'll have access to nearly limitless options. This is Brian Burkhart with Burkhart Sporting Goods. Give us a call and let us show you just how easy group apparel sales can be.
You can't beat Burkhart.
What's the opposite of flashy?
Understated, unpretentious.
And Drew. You mean the Drew bedroom collection from Penny Mustard.
Straightforward and simple.
But what the Drew lacks in flash, it more than makes up for in durability.
What are some other words to describe the Drew bedroom?
Let me check a thesaurus. Uncomplicated, plain, and...
What?
There's a picture of you in here.
Yeah, that's about right.
The Drew bedroom collection, starting at $50.82 at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Home practice is about to begin. Your daughter's new tap shoes? Loud. Your son's new tuba? Louder. But you got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with $50 overdraft grace zone. So if you lose track of expenses buying some noise-canceling and sanity-saving headphones, we've got your back. You got this with $50 overdraft grace zone from Associated Bank. See AssociatedBank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA and founder of Right Choice Tax Resolution. I just finished writing a book about my experiences dealing with the IRS. It is already a bestseller. The IRS is the most ruthless collection agency in the world. They can seize your bank accounts, garnish your wages, and even take your house. The state can deny your professional license as a teacher, nurse, or other occupation. Do you want your employer to know about your problems? My book tells you what you can do so you don't have to worry about them ever again. Don't bury your head in the sand and hope the problem will go away. It will only get worse unless you step up and do something. We can help. We help reduce or eliminate penalties, negotiate payment plans, and represent you in tax audits. Make the right choice and go to rightchoicetax.us to book a call or meeting right now. We know you want to take the first step in getting the IRS off your back so you can live again. That's rightchoicetax.us.
This is Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
We've been telling you all day. Today, it's 414 Day. But what we're doing is we're celebrating 414 by going, well, we're streaming live. So now you can listen to us, but you can also watch the Jeff Wagner Show and all your favorite WTMJ shows streaming live on video from our studios at the Avenue. You can watch online at WTMJ.com. You can watch through our mobile app. You can watch through the WTMJ YouTube page, and you can check out all our social channels. Look while you listen with the WTMJ video stream. We were talking about dynamic pricing and the cost of events going up. One of our texters makes an interesting point. Jeff, Packer games. I have both green and gold season ticket packages. To go to a game, it's $140 per seat. So I take my wife. That's probably a good choice. Take my wife. 2 tickets, that's $280, and now you have to buy a $15 beer. I mean, you're easily talking about a $400 by the time you buy some hot dogs and whatever and a couple beers, I mean, you're easily talking about a $400 experience. And that's, now it's one thing, historically, tickets to Packers games, the price has not mattered. People have wanted to get in, and they've been willing to pay almost anything. I will be curious to see, and I'm not predicting this yet, I'm not wishing it, but I think the Packers are going to be in for, well, in the post-Aaron Rodgers era, I think that they're going to be taking a couple steps back before they move forward. So it's going to be interesting to see if they do, have a year where they end up, 8-9 again, or 3-14 or whatever. It's going to be interesting if some of those people that are paying that $140 a seat decide that maybe, they're going to try to get rid of them in the secondary market to get some dough out of them. Time will tell. All right, when we come back, it's that time of the week, Pop Culture Corner coming right up. But first, WTMJ breaking news time is 2:30, and here's Mike Spaulding.
Thank you, Jeff. Mark Jensen's headed back to prison. Jensen sentenced to life today after he was found guilty of his wife Julie's 1998 murder. Jensen was first found guilty back in 2008. However, that conviction was overturned. A Kenosha County jury found Jensen guilty again this past February. Mark Lazary, no longer a member of the Bucs ownership group. Lazary completing the sale of his 25% stake in the Bucs to Cleveland Browns owner Jimmy Haslam and his organization Haslam Sports Group. The deal was the deal valued the Bucs at about $3.5 billion. Today, Haslam owns the Cleveland Browns in the NFL. The state is out with another red flag warning today. The warning for counties in central Wisconsin means the risk for wildfires remains high and marks the third day in a row that a warning is in place. Time now for some news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. In the red across the board right now, the Dow down right now 198 at 33,831. The NASDAQ down 65 points at 12,101. The S&P 500 down 16.5 points at 41.29. Get on track with investment and retirement planning. Visit annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button today. Taking a look at your roads in the Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Bit of a slowdown heading eastbound on I-94 between the zoo and downtown Milwaukee. It is a 15-minute commute, a slowdown there of about 7 minutes. Southbound 4145 between Highway Q and the zoo, tad bit slow there. That'll take you 18 minutes, a slowdown there of 4. Southbound 43 Brown Deer Road to downtown, that'll take you 16 minutes, a slowdown there of 5. While 894 eastbound from the Hale to the Mitchell, that is a 9-minute commute, slowdown there of just a couple of minutes.
Traffic is sponsored by TaybackAttorneys.com. Heard at work? Call Tayback for the payback. An injury at work may leave you eligible for compensation benefits, including lost wages, coverage of medical bills, or a cash settlement. Call Tayback for the payback. TaybackAttorneys.com.
That's the right one. Taking a look at your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Mostly sunny today. 73 degrees is your high. Lakeside, 82 degrees inland. Overnight tonight, mostly clear skies, a low 53. Tomorrow, cloudy skies. Thunderstorms are likely late. A high of 70 by the lake, 80 degrees inland. Sunday, mostly cloudy, rainy. Some thunderstorms could pop up as well. A high 55 degrees. Monday, a few rain and snow showers are likely early in the morning. No accumulation, though. Cloudy, breezy into the afternoon. A high 45. Tuesday, mostly sunny. A high of 50 degrees. Right now in Milwaukee, it is 71 degrees. I'm Mike Spaulding, Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 2:33.
Hey, Mike, now you're the assistant program director. One of our listeners asked a question. Maybe I should direct it to you. We've been talking about the video streaming and stuff. And so one of our texters says, Jeff, hope you get more dollars for video streaming. So is there more money in it for...
Charlie, did you text that in?
Is there more money for that, huh?
That's the hope.
The
hope is that more people watch, then we sell it, and then we all get more money.
We'll all get more money.
That's how I understand these
that
things
is
work.
The plan. Okay, well, then watch the thing on the stream. Okay, I didn't realize, nobody ever told me that. I just thought it was like other duties as assigned. But okay, that's it. Check us out on the stream. Some of us, actually all of us, we clean up pretty well, so you can check it out. It is that time of the week, Pop Culture Corner right around the corner. And today's Pop Culture Corner, it's a suggestion from a listener that tickled my fancy, and I'd like to have my fancy tickled. Stick around.
Don't go anywhere. Jeff Wagner is back right after this.
The Laugh Out Loud Tony Award-winning play, God of Carnage, comes to Milwaukee Rep this spring. This explosive comedy is all fun and games until the grown-ups get hurt. When two sets of parents politely meet to settle a schoolyard spat between their sons, the gloves come off as neighborly decorum disintegrates into no-holds-barred mayhem. An entertaining look at what happens when the little things push us over the edge. God of Carnage, playing April 18th through May 14th. For tickets, visit MilwaukeeRep.com.
St. Vincent de Paul Milwaukee seeks a hands-on facility manager to maintain our thrift store and meal program buildings, grounds, and equipment. In this full-time position with benefits, you'll oversee all facility contracted services and perform light maintenance and repairs to buildings and equipment. Technical training in basic electricity, plumbing, carpentry, and/or mechanical is required, and a degree is a plus. Go to svdpmilw.org to learn more and apply. Good luck.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Champagne's not as cheap as ginger ale, and you can't buy caviar for the same price as candy. But now, you can buy Beautyrest Hybrid and the highest-end Tempur-Pedic mattresses for nowhere near highest-end prices. Hasseless Mattress is clearing out a handful of premium floor models. These mattresses are the best, and you can get them for way less. Like the Beautyrest Queen Haven Bay was on sale for $1,178, now just $471. Or the Beautyrest Hybrid King Harbor Oaks was on sale for $3,099, but the floor model is just $854. Plus, save big on Sealy adjustable bases, originally marked $984, now on sale for just $392. It's like buying a Rolls Royce for $10,000 just because it sat on the showroom floor. Selection is limited. Only a few floor models are available at each Hasseless location, and when they're gone for good. Find a self-service, employee-free showroom near you at Hasseless.com.
Gather round all. It's time for Wagner's Pop Culture Corner. Time to put aside the heavy lifting on the WTMJ talk and text line at 855-616-1620. Now, here's Jeff Wagner.
Like the big voice guy says, this is the time for Pop Culture Corner. It's brought to you, as always, by our friends at Palermo's Pizza. Delicious frozen pizzas made right here in Wisconsin for over 55 years. Palermo's is Wisconsin's hometown pizza. And as we do every week, in the exclusive discretion of my producer, Charlie, one of our participants, one of our callers, will win our Palermo's Pizza prize package, which is a coupon good for 2 frozen pizzas and this really, really cool Palermo's Pizza cutter, which now that we are video streaming, I got to bring one down so I can show it on the camera. It's really cool. They don't let me have one. The only way you can get it is to win our prize package, and then there's other stuff as well that's included in there that is exclusively given to a caller in the discretion of my producer, Charlie. So what are we doing with Pop Culture Corner today? And because there's so much stuff going on. You got the NFL draft coming up. You got the NBA playoffs that are starting, baseball season back. I was thinking about making this a sports-related topic for this week. But then I got an email from one of our listeners, our listener Rick, and he had a suggestion which, like I say, it completely and totally tickled my fancy. And essentially said, look, Jeff, I know that you're a huge movie fan, but I'd like to make a suggestion for your popular weekly feature, Pop Culture Corner. And then, it goes on to say, how about you want to do a movie topic. We know that you love movies, but rather than talking about the movies or the participants in them, why don't you ask people about what their favorite quotation from a movie is, their favorite movie quote? And I thought about that, and I thought about it, and actually I got this email a couple days ago. I've been thinking about it for the last couple days because there's so many great movies. There's so many memorable lines in movies that I thought it would be fun on a nice Friday afternoon, Pop Culture Corner heading into the weekend. That's what we're going to talk about today. Your favorite movie quotation, the best line that you have heard from a movie. It could be a drama, it could be a comedy. I don't care. It could be something that's famous and accessible to everybody, or maybe it's one of these more obscure ones. But your favorite movie quotation, and you can describe future, you can describe, your favorite any way you want. Maybe it's, boy, this really sums up life. Maybe it's, hey, boy, this just really made me laugh. You can decide how you want to do it, but that's our topic for Pop Culture Corner today. Your favorite movie quotation of all time. Back with your calls and your texts in just a moment. This is Jeff Wagner, WTMJ.
More Jeff Wagner right after this.
Here in Wisconsin, one name is synonymous with fantastic frozen pizza, Palermo's. For almost 60 years, Palermo's has focused on feeding Wisconsin families. And though Palermo's has grown a lot since 1964, they're still family-owned. They're still proud to call Milwaukee home. And they're still committed to making the best frozen pizza possible. From their new and improved rising crust pizzas to their guilt-free Primo thin pies, Palermo's has a delicious slice for every appetite. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer food aisle. Palermo's, flavor is our family's business.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here. According to a Career Builder survey, the average cost of a bad hire is $50,000. You can't afford to make a mistake. Let LAK Group help you in your recruiting efforts. Their proprietary recruiting process fuses expertise, resources, and technologies with your needs and identifies strategies and solutions that boost your company's productivity. Let LAK Group's executive recruiting services help you find great candidates. Visit transformingcareers.com. LAK Group, discover your human advantage.
Jason, is this right? $4,500 off?
Yes.
What do you mean, yes?
Capital customers get up to $4,500 off a brand new heat and air system.
Hang on.
Now through end of April. And for only $160 a month.
$160 a month?
That's for the best system we sell.
The one that basically lasts forever?
Right.
NASA-level technology? $4,500 off?
It's our job to get all our great customers the value they need now.
Okay, look. I get that everything's getting more expensive.
Gotta keep trucking.
And your money's never going to be worth more than it is today.
You just made my argument.
But you gotta be kidding me!
Or for as low as $65 a month, trade in your old furnace or AC for a brand new one.
65 what?
Dollars, Seth. $65.
Are you crazy?
As a Fox.
Don't give away the UV light.
And let's give them a free UV light.
That's worth $900.
The Keep Truckin' sale ends April 30th, so call Capital today or go online at callcapitalcares.com for complete details.
Taxes are due. Have you filed yet? Don't worry, Jackson Hewitt is racking up the assists. They will get you filed or an extension before the deadline. Beat the crowds by going to Jackson Hewitt today.
Gruber Law Offices, a proud partner of your Milwaukee Brewers.
What if you could build a six-figure retirement income with almost half the money saved? You heard that right. Get a discount on your retirement, creating a six-figure income with 40% less than traditional 401ks and mutual funds. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, best-selling author and executive producer of a new Hollywood documentary called The Baby Boomer Dilemma. In this film, economists and Nobel Prize-winning PhDs from Wharton, MIT, and Stanford share a strange concept called the retirement discount. It gives you more retirement income with the same dollar saved, and your money is never at risk if the market crashes. That's right. If the market crashes 30%, you lose nothing. Even people who are on track have shifted money to this new strategy because it increases their retirement income or can allow them to stop working years sooner. So if you're 50 or older and want a bigger, better retirement, call Mitch Lyons Wealth to get a free copy of this brand new movie at 1-800-578-3535. This is a $30 value, but when you call today, you'll get it completely free. Plus, I'll include a copy of my book, Retirement of Steel. And I'll even pay your shipping and handling. No credit card required. Call right now. 1-800-578-3535. That's 1-800-578-3535.
It's pop culture time. Now back to take your calls. Here's Jeff Wagner.
This one's going to be fun. We're talking about the best movie lines ever. Big Mistake from Pretty Woman. Been there, experienced that attitude, love that line. Yeah, that's the one where she'd gone in with a bunch of money to buy something in the high-end store, and they turned her down, and then she came back later on with a whole bunch of money. Big mistake. Let's see. 1.21 gigawatts. That's, of course, Back to the Future. Get Busy Living or Get Busy Dying from the Shawshank Redemption. That's a great one. From Jaws, we're going to need a bigger boat. From, let's see, There Can Be Only One, Highlander, 1986. And then, of course, you've got No Crying in Baseball from A League of Their Own. That's just some of the ones. 855-616-1620. Let's start with Mike in Elkhorn. Mike, you're on WTMJ.
When you were talking about today's topic, the first thing that came to my mind is badges. We don't need no stinking badges.
From The Treasure of Sierra Madre, one of the great Humphrey Bogart movies, and John Huston, I think Walter Huston as well, yeah.
And Blazing Saddles.
Well, that's right. No, right, exactly. Thanks for the call. Right, it was originally from. Okay, right. It was Blazing Saddles, but before that, it was Treasure of Sierra Madre. Yeah, badges. We don't need no stinking badges. Let's talk to John in Racine. John, you're on WTMJ. Good afternoon.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, John.
A lot of times your topics, I have like 15 things jump into my mind.
Well, that's the idea.
Right away, instantly, two of them came in. It's got to be. First one, go ahead and make my day.
Yeah.
Dirty Harry Callahan.
Yep. You probably be thinking, did I fire 6 shots or only 5? And in all of the confusion, I've forgot myself. Absolutely. And your second one?
Yeah. I can't say it. It's Bruce Willis from Die Hard. I better leave that one off.
Fair enough. I've had to hit the dump button once already today. Thanks for the call. Yeah, there's so many great lines, and Dirty Harry. The original one was just you had the make my day sort of thing, and did I fire 6 shots or only 5? 855-616-1620. Jeff from Sandlot. You're killing me, Smales. Right. Oh, yes. Here's one. Of course, this is the tie to around here. Just a little bit outside from the movie Major League. From Outlaw Josie Wales. You're going to pull those pistols or just whistle Dixie. Luke, I Am Your Father. We all know where that's from. We all know that's from Caddyshack. You probably get a bowl of soup with a hat like that, but it looks good on you. One of the great Rodney Dangerfield lines. Of course, Clark Gable. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. We all remember that one. 855-616-1620. Let's see. Let's talk to Chris in Fort Atkinson. Chris, you're on WTMJ. Good afternoon.
Well, the first movie I thought of when you brought the subject up, and there's so many iconic lines from this movie, it's the movie Tombstone.
Right.
But the one that really sticks out is when Johnny Ringo goes to the river to fight Wyatt Earp, and Doc Holliday rounds the tree with that smoking 6-shooter drawn.
Yep.
And he looks him square in the face and he says, "Johnny Ringo, looks like someone done stepped over your grave."
I love it. No, thanks for calling. I love it. There's a lot of great lines in Tombstone. There's no question about it. Let's talk to, let's see. Let's go to Tim in Milwaukee. I'm sorry, Chris in McGuanago. Chris, you're on WTMJ. Good afternoon.
Hey, I was going to quote Tombstone. There are some great ones in that as well. But get him a body bag and throw the damn towel.
Which one? Oh, right. Got it. Right. Exactly. No,
Karate Kid and Rocky.
Right. Yeah. Rocky. Thanks for the call. Right. Rocky in particular, absolutely outstanding, and so many great ones there. Tim in Milwaukee. Tim, you're on WTMJ. Good afternoon.
Hi. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I'm gonna go right to the same scene in Tombstone when Holiday looks at Johnny Ringo and says, "Say when."
Thanks for the call. It's funny, and matter of fact, I'm getting swamped with texts from Tombstone. I'll be your Huckleberry. I remember that one as well. Aaron in Chicago says, "You played it for her, you can play it for me." That's, of course, Humphrey Bogart in Casablanca. The thing is, the line from Casablanca, "Play it again, Sam." No, that doesn't appear. That's an urban myth. Ingrid Bergman never says, "Play it again, Sam." Let's talk to, let's see, we've got Steve in Oak Creek. Steve, you're on WTMJ. Hello.
You can't handle the truth.
From A Few Good Men, absolutely. Thanks for the call. Isn't it amazing? Thanks for the call, Steve. Isn't it amazing how many that particular movie line, how appropriate it is, and you can use it for how many different situations. Okay, let's talk to let's see, Mike in Menominee Falls. Mike, you're on WTMJ.
Hey, Jeff. Apparently, you got a lot of Tombstone fans in
your
no
kidding.
listenership. I actually have to watch that movie now after hearing all of the great quotes from that.
Yeah.
But the movie line that always cracks me up, and it has for years, is from Harry When Harry Met Sally. It's after when Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan are sitting in a restaurant, and I think people are familiar with this.
Yep.
And Meg fakes an orgasm, and then it's actually Rob Reiner's mother says, I'll have what she's having.
It is.
And to me, that is just a classic line that is just never fails to make me laugh.
And it never goes out of style. You know, I cannot tell you how many situations I have been in the past where, for some reason, that has been recycled. No, you're exactly right, Mike. And matter of fact, I agree with you. And obviously, it touched a nerve with my producer, Charlie, because you, Mike, you're going to get the chance to have what, well, she's having, if she's having a Palermo's Pizza prize package. So you are our winner for this afternoon, okay? Enjoy it.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, that's it. And we'll give away. We do this every week with the Palermo's prize package, and I really do appreciate it because Pop Culture Corner presented by Palermo's Pizza, and we appreciate that. From the good, bad, and the ugly, Jeff, when you got to shoot. Don't talk. Jeff from Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Who are those guys? Yeah, I can remember that one. Yeah, that's it. Go on, make my day. That's from Diane. There's no question about that. See, some of the ones that we're getting, we got a lot of texts, but some of the ones are, I think, kind of a little bit obscure. But it's a number of people are saying you can't handle the truth. There's no question about that one. 855-616-1620. Apocalypse Now. I love the smell of napalm in the morning. The great Robert Duvall line, no question about it. Chris in Green Bay. Chris, you're on WTMJ.
Hey, thanks for taking my call,
Hi,
Jeff.
Chris.
I love Animal House, and I know it's probably a movie people haven't seen lately, but when Dean Wormer says, fat, drunk, and stupid are no way to go through life, son.
Right. And then
I feel personally attacked sometimes when I watch it.
No, I mean, Chris, I am. You're right. Not enough people have seen Animal House, and it's. I understand it is a generational thing. To me, I mean, I remember when Animal House came out. I can remember. I've probably seen it 50 times. A couple of my buddies have as well. We do all the lines, but you're right. There's a lot of great lines in there. The late. John Belushi has a lot of those lines, but you're right. If you're trying to think of one of them, fat, drunk, and stupid, no way to go through life. Yeah, I think there's probably an element to that. Oh, somebody's channeling Al Pacino here in Scarface. Say hello to my little friend from The Princess Bride. Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Yeah, a lot of great lines from The Princess Bride as well. Patton, George C. Scott, you give me 2 weeks and I'll have us at war. He's talking about the Russians. I'll have us at war with those sons of you-know-whats, and I'll make it look like it was their fault. Yeah, I think that there's an element. Yeah, Animal House, right, that's a John Belushi line. Over? Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? That's it. How about the line, Good Morning Vietnam, from the film of the same name? Yeah, just absolutely outstanding with the late Robin Williams. Gotta love that. Then a lot of people are having some lines that I can't say on the radio, but they're great too. Life is a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, from Forrest Gump. Yeah, a lot of lines in there. Jeff, that rug really tied the room together. That is, of course, from The Big Lebowski. No question about it. Jeff from Dirty Harry, do you feel lucky, punk? Well, do you? All right. That's just all sorts of great ideas. As a matter of fact, I appreciate you letting me walk down memory lane with this. So great movie quotations. Thanks to the listener, Rick, for the suggestion. If you've got suggestions for a future Pop Culture Corner, I'm open to them, because this one was a lot of fun. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, let's find out what Sandy and Greg have on their minds for Wisconsin's afternoon news.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
Thanks for participating in this week's Pop Culture Corner. Stay tuned next week for another pop culture topic. every hour.
The Republican National Committee announcing this morning that Fox News will host the first GOP presidential primary debate, and it will be in Milwaukee.
Every day.
2 officers shot and killed in Barron County over the weekend. That's northwest Wisconsin, according to the mayor of Chautauqua.
The news doesn't stop, and neither do we.
Barron County Sheriff's Department paging Mayo Clinic ambulance. You requested Highway SS for an officer-involved shooting.
News Radio WTMJ.
To be the best, you have to beat the best. And in